Hey, everybody, and all two or one of you. The other one might be TJ. Usually that happens. We start out small, and as we get into these episodes, they probably don't want to hear me blabbing away at the beginning of all these streams. But we are going to be talking about the first 7 episodes from the 5th season of Tales from the Crypt tonight. Hey, Blissful. Hey, Foz. Um, and I'm going to ask TJ when I get him on here if he's got a rant for us tonight because I have his intro for TJ's rants all lined up. So hopefully he's got one because even though that woman's scary, I like playing that intro just because it's funny. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add TJ real quick here. Hey, TJ.
Hi, I was just reading something. How's it going?
uh, Foz, you want to know what Joe Bob shirt I have? This is the last drive-in live. It's the Jamboree shirt, and I didn't get to go to the Jamboree, of course, but it is a pretty cool artwork. It's got kind of like a send-off of Night of the Demons with the invitation thing and all that. And they actually showed Night of the Demons at one of the jamborees. So,
And he's wearing Linnea Quigley's lipstick makeup.
yes, he is. He's got the heart shape of Linnea Quigley lipstick on there. But hopefully he didn't do the other part, that Linnea Quigley did after she got possessed. But, oh, that looks cool, TJ. The little figure.
The Christmas tree.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm wearing my Christmas shirt.
There you go. So we're all, I'm not as festive, but I have 2 pairs of Grinch pajama pants. And these are my new
You're
ones.
wearing 2 pairs?
Well, I'm not wearing 2 pairs right now, but this has the Grinch and Max on them. I have a red pair, and this is a black pair. I'm not sure why they decided to make them black, but I got these from Amazon. It doesn't seem very festive with all the black on it, but I wear black shirts a lot too. Fuzz, you say nice, love that art. I got the first marathon shirt and a Monster Vision throwback shirt. I've got both of those too. Plus, it seems like every time they come out with a new Joe Bob shirt, I gotta get it. I don't get every single one of them, but most of them I've got. And I did, the Dead Pit Boys kept laughing at me, but I did get my annual $50 Joe Bob Christmas shirt. But,
Which you'll have next Christmas.
yeah, I don't think they're going to be shipping them out till
They
February.
won't be until next year. I don't think they're shipping them out.
No, because they, I think they take off a couple of weeks or something like that. I don't know. I guess they make so much money the rest of the year that all their staff can afford to take off for 2 weeks. But, $30 a shirt. But
yeah.
I don't know if anybody else that orders regularly from Fright Rags has noticed that they have a point system in place now. Where I got 1,900 points and I didn't even know I had those. So I could get a shirt for half price now. So I could get $15 off, or I could wait until I get some more points and then I could get $20 off a shirt. Only have to pay $10 for it. But so that's something to keep in mind. Maybe Fright Rags thought maybe we're price gouging just a little bit. They got cool shirts. I respect them for that. And to be totally honest, almost all the places that do that quality of shirts, whether it's Cavity Colors or Gutter Garbs or Terror Threads, I think is another one. They all charge about $30 per shirt. If you want to get more reasonable prices, and T-shirt Joe has quality shirts too. I ain't gonna say but he doesn't. I don't know if he's brought his prices up any. Like he used to have convention prices where the shirts were $10 a piece. It didn't matter which one they were. So I would load up on horror shirts when I would see him at the conventions. Hey, Super Batman Nerd. And Blissful, I owe you a message later too, because I know you sent me a message or two and I haven't responded. But to be honest, it's the holiday season and I've made fudge. I made 3 types of fudge. I made 2 different types of cookies. I got to make 2 more types of cookies this weekend. But I was just exhausted the other night when I was like, I can't do anymore. I just can't keep going. So,
it'll be over in a few days.
the Christmas season or the Christmas holiday is just upon us. I mean, it's just about here. So for those of you that feel kind of doomy and gloomy at this time of the year for whatever reasons, I know people do, and I understand it. I mean, there's some years where I've felt like, but it's usually for me, what happens, and this might not work for everybody, is once I start putting up the Christmas tree and getting it decorated. See, I love TJ's decoration there.
See how happy he is? Someone took him out of his God-given space.
Yeah, they took him out of the woods where he was happy and now cut him down. And Super Batman Nerd, you say you can't wait for this Saturday for Christmas vacation? Yes, I am doing only one watch along this weekend because Sunday is Christmas Eve. I will be out of town. I will be at my mother-in-law's celebrating Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, me and Steve will be at my parents' house celebrating. Oh, that's cute.
I'm
like it.
Okay. Gotta put your hand behind it so it focuses.
Hey, Russell. Russell says, hey, Dana and TJ popped in to say hello. Russell's always good about that. Even
hi, bye.
Even if he can't stay around for very long, he still comes in and says, hey, and I appreciate that. And I want to say this why I think Russell's still in here. I want to say how much I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that joins the channel. But Russell went a step further and I think he's the Henrietta Deadite tier, which is about $15. So
cheers. Cheers, Dana.
Nah, I won't go over the tiers. Y'all can go to my channel.
Come on, go ahead.
Y'all can go to my channel and check out the different membership tiers. Yeah, Super Batman Nerd. I will. I'll try to remember. My brain is like mush lately, but I'll try to remember to send you that link on Facebook so you can come on that stream. I'm pretty sure Jay's going to be on there with me. TJ, if you're interested in coming on there and can, you're welcome to. And anybody else.
This time of year, it's like something might happen the last minute.
Yeah. That's entirely possible. Blissful said, I sent you the equivalent to an audio book. Well, I hadn't even got a chance to see how long the audio message was, but I've sent some really long ones too. So,
do it
holy
on 1.5
cow.
Get to it fast.
TJ'd probably go to sleep if I left him a message that long. He'd be like, "Good Lord, she's blabbermouth."
I'd be okay, it's over.
I'm gonna listen to the beginning and the end. That should be enough. Russell is participating in 3 live streams. He says he's got 3 live streams going on tonight, so I will be in and out.
Ah.
Russell's a busy man. He's always,
Watching them, or is he appearing on them?
That's a good question, Russell. Are you just watching them, or are you live on any of these streams? Hey, Darren. Darren, too, he comes up with because, Russell, you're gonna have to get in on this too, because that's one of the benefits of paying that money every month is you get special little perks like asking me to review certain stuff, and Darren's batting 1,000 so far as what he's picked for me to review. I've loved every single one of them. And he's supposed to be coming up with some more for me to do. Super Batman Nerdy saying you guys was right about the pole being a light pole instead of a flag pole in A Christmas Story. Oh, really? Well, wasn't it a flagpole on the movie, TJ?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe in the story, maybe. Possibly it was like a light pole.
Yeah, there's no light pole in front of the school. I'm pretty sure. We watched that damn thing. I mean, it didn't look like one.
Russell says he's just watching them all, so he's not participating in them. So TJ, if you've got a rant for tonight, I'll go ahead and play the intro.
Not really, but I mean, if you want to play, you said you like the intro, so I mean,
I just think it's wacky, crazy. I just like watching that woman do that stuff.
I kind of did my rant when we were watching A Christmas Story. I kind of did the.
Yeah. So we don't. If you don't really have anything, we don't have to play it tonight. We can save it for when you have a real good one.
Something, but now it's not even in my head right now. I could never remember what it is because now I'm concentrating on the Tales from the Crypt episode.
Well, if you remember it later, we'll do the rant at the end. But if you don't,
Kelly Bundy, there's an episode where they're trying to teach her stuff, and Bud Bundy goes, "Kelly's like, you have to. If she learns too much, she gets cut off, and then if she learns anything new, one of the last things she remembers disappears." So that's how I.
So I guess we'll go ahead and get started with these episodes, and and I'm sure TJ has some comparisons all lined up.
Yeah.
For most, if not all. Like, this was one hell of a start to a season. I just like to put that out there. Lot of, I would say there's a lot of sex in this. The ones I watched this time, and a lot gore, a lot more gore. It seemed like than there has been. Would you agree with that, TJ?
There's at least 2 episodes that are like, wow, that's going overboard for like HBO. Like, oh, we're gonna see what we can get away with. Yeah, there's a lot of sex and gore and. This first episode is a lot of Tim Curry.
Yes, sir. There's a whole heck of a lot of Tim Curry.
He should have gotten an award. They should have nominated him for some kind of.
Yeah.
I know back then they were doing awards for cable, like on the Emmys, but he's so.
What was it? The Cable Ace Awards? Was that what they called that?
Yeah, that was. I don't know when that was created though. Was it in the early '90s? I don't know.
I can't even remember now.
I'm surprised he never won an Oscar or was nominated for an Oscar or something like
that. Darren says he does have another 2 for me. Deadly Strangers from 1975 and Haunted House of Horror from 1969. First is on YouTube. Steve will be able to get you the last. No rush, though. Just give me a week's notice. I sure will, Darren. And then Darren likes to hop on there with me during the Seductive Poison Resurgence show, and I just call it a review show when we do those things. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started with the first episode of season 5, which is Death of Some Salesman. And this starts out with a sex scene right off, pretty much. I don't know why this strikes me as funny, but the man in the scene is Ed Begley Jr. And I'm like,
You don't think he's sexy?
not to me. I'm not saying he's ugly. It's just, it seemed like an odd choice to have in that scene.
If it's a comedy part too, I think that's kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but also Yvonne DiCarlo is on here in a small part. This one's directed by Gilbert Adler, one of the creators of the show, and the screenplay was done by Al Katz, another creator of the show, and Gilbert Adler.
Katz.
A.L. Katz, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that correction, TJ, because I look at it quick and think it says Al Katz, instead of A.L. Katz. That could be a woman for all we know.
Yeah. The director Gilbert Adler directed Bordello Blood. And he directed the episode with Bess Armstrong with the diner.
Yeah.
With Iron Man. No, was he? No, who was the?
Oh, Christopher Reeve was it? Superman.
Yeah, but who played the young guy? Was that?
Oh, that was Judd. That was Judd Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not yeah. All right.
Hey, Chris. Chris says evening all / the like. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let TJ start talking about Death of Some Salesman. That almost sounds like a tongue twister, kind of.
Death of Some Salesman. They play on the Death of a Salesman title.
Yeah.
So Ed Begley Jr. is this sales guy. He's also like he's full of crap. It's just, to put it mildly. Like I said, he opens up with a sex scene with this girl, and she's like, "Oh, you promised you'd do all this stuff," and he's like, "No, I said that last night, honey. Now I'm gonna leave you."
Yeah, and you're like, "You're such a dick," and he's a con man too.
Yeah, he's a con man. He sells funeral plots. His first sale is to Yvonne DiCarlo's character. Mrs. Munster, she should have been called Mrs. Munster. That would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, your husband was he was supposed to pay for this funeral plot, and if you pay for the insurance on it, you'll get like $20,000 or whatever it is." And she's like, "Oh, I'll pay that right away." Meanwhile, he's just like pocketing the money basically. This is set. I think it's set like in the. Maybe not in the 50s, but it's definitely set like you're not going to call your consumer reporter and say, "Is this guy for real?" You don't have that often in this show. So he leaves there and he comes across this other house. It's the wrong house. So the woman's like, "Yeah, this is the wrong address. You want this is like Drive. You want street, and that's all the way across town." But then she's like, "Are you a salesman?" And he's like, "I am." And she invites him in and introduces him to her husband. So he's like, "All right, I got the wrong address, but I'm going to try to get some money out of this." He promises them like $40,000 if they whatever the money is for the plot. The plot for the plot. I could make a joke, but I don't want to. And so
it's too late to make jokes about these episodes.
So they're he's gonna the old man's like, "Sure, I'll go get the money. We'll pay you for it." Meanwhile, the wife offers him some tea, which is cold. He goes over to the microwave to heat up the cold tea. There's this severed head in there. It's all bloody and gory. And he starts seeing all these dead bodies. The there's a vacuum cleaner. The vacuum nozzle is going through the guy's face, which is pretty gory. There's a can't remember every one of them now. There's a few different ones. There's these dead. So it's basically the husband and wife. They'll buy stuff, but if it doesn't work, they will kill the salesman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like a house of horrors. Ed Begley wants to get out of there, but he's basically trapped because they have a shotgun. Meanwhile, there's they have a daughter who's a very unattractive person. I'll say that to say the least. Now, all three characters except for Ed Begley Jr. character are played by Tim Curry, and he's very good. This is the wrong time to go into the review, but he's very good. Like all three characters are very distinct.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Even with the makeup, I mean, the mother and daughter look alike, but it's his face. But then the father looks like totally different. So I think that really works. Also, the women voices are sort of the same, but he's really good at he's differentiating between the three characters. So anyway, he sort of pretends that he's gonna marry the daughter, and he's in love with her. So he sort of coerces her. But the father's like, well, you're going to get married right here. So they get the shotgun wedding. But I think they're going to kill him anyways. And the daughter gets very upset, gets into a physical fight with the parents. I guess they're killed. The dowry is in the basement. They decide, all right, her and him go down to the basement so they can get the money and go away together. But he decides he's going to shoot her. He digs for it, and there's nothing there. We find out that they're not really dead. It was all their plan, like this fake blood and all that stuff. They had planned to pretend that, she pretended to kill them, and the gun wasn't a real loaded and all that stuff. And he ends up getting killed, and that's the end of the episode.
Seems like a really quick episode, but all I could think of in the scene where the daughter wants him to say that he loves her, and she says, like, you don't really love me, and then, they go to this semi-sex scene, but I don't know how in the world those two could keep a straight face doing that. Ed Begley Jr. or Tim Curry, because it was just so extreme and ridiculous. I know, but there's no way that I could. Of course, I'm not an actor either. That I could keep a straight face doing something like that. It's just so wacky. But but I agree with TJ that Tim Curry does an excellent job of differentiating between those three characters. And you could almost now, it's harder to, I know this sounds weird, it's harder to imagine that isn't Tim Curry under that makeup and stuff with the mother and the daughter, but the father seems so different.
Yeah.
But he still, he does an excellent job with that if you suspend disbelief a little bit, you could say, oh, that's three different people playing these three characters. Coco, you say this is one of your favorite episodes. It's definitely, I feel like a little heavier on, even though it does have some gory parts and, there's body parts all around, stuff like that. Still a little more comedic than a lot of these episodes that we're going to talk about tonight. But I still really, really liked it. I liked that wacky comedy element that was put into it. So, again, I'm not really finding any episodes yet that were a chore to get through. Now, TJ may have other ideas as we go through these, but um, I haven't so far. Um, so I'll turn this back over to TJ to talk about comparisons.
This was from Haunt of Fear, number 15. Um, there's a little bit of there's no daughter, um, and it's more about it's more about it's like a house of horrors basically. Is he goes in there, he tries to sell them something. They talk about how they wanted to make sure they tested everything to make sure that the salesmen weren't trying to screw them over. So they had so it's they have a dead salesman in the freezer. The freezer worked. They had a dead salesman in the oven. The oven worked. You see like a charred corpse. There's a clock. There's somebody hang. You can see their feet hung upside down in the clock. There's a vacuum cleaner, which is sort of the same thing as in the episode. There's a TV. There's a head in the TV. A body in the TV. There's also a body in like the dryer. So there's a lot more gory little bits. And then and when it's revealed what the salesman is selling, he's selling meat slicer, which is
Oh,
so it ends with he's selling a meat slicer, and that's like the last panel with him in shock, and there's the meat slicer, and they're gonna kill him, and so there's a little bit of a difference.
probably no sex scene.
No, there's no, like I said, there's no daughter, so it's nothing. There's no.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's a pretty short.
Cut and dried.
Yeah. It's more just about the House of Horrors type of thing, which I'm surprised when they do. Like, I haven't been to a lot of haunted attractions, but you think they would do like somebody, monster, dead body in a clock, and stuff in the dryer and stuff like that. I mean, but yeah, they just have stupid people jumping out and going boo.
I went to some good ones in Louisville. I almost got molested by Uncle Frank.
Oh, fun.
in this Hellraiser. I mean, he was kind of making me uncomfortable. He was that close, and he was talking to me and asking me stuff. I was like, no, not really. I want to get out of here.
I've never been to one, but I would like to go to one of those that are in a church, but it's not. It's like horrors of the Bible that they show you. So it's like you can show.
Yeah.
They don't like the churches don't like the bloody and gory, and Halloween is evil and stuff like that. But they're gonna show you like all the Jesus nailed to the cross and all that. Blood.
Probably show people supposedly burning in hell. This is what happened if you don't.
Yeah, because that stuff's gonna matter while you're alive. But anyway, but I would love to go. I bet they're like hokey as hell.
Probably are. I've never been to anything like that, but I know Steve brought it up when we did the Haunted Ween commentary a few years ago. I don't think he's ever been to one, but I guess he was talking about, imagining what those would be like.
You could do something with Cain and Abel. You could have just like a bloody body that was chopped up by the brother. That would be cool.
We all as horror fans be going, ooh, cool,
You can show the birth of baby Jesus, but like, a really bad birth, so it's all bloody and gross. I guess that's wrong. Sorry, God.
We'll behave, God. We promise.
Yeah.
We'll try our best.
When I get up there, I'll do everything right. But right now, I'm on Earth, and Earth is crazy right now. But anyway.
It definitely is.
But so that was the death of some salesman.
Death of some salesman, which brings us to the next episode, As Ye Sow.
Yes.
With Hector Alon. Oh, can you pronounce that? There we go.
I'll get all the names you can't pronounce.
Yeah, I just turned over to TJ rather than make a fool of myself trying to pronounce this. Patsy Kensit, Adam West is on this. Yeah. And this is directed by Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
From Twin Peaks and other things. And he was even in a Tales from the Crypt episode that TJ and I talked about earlier on.
Death.
Yep. So this is all about there's a lot of
Adam West is in it.
yeah, Adam West is it. There's a lot of I don't want to say spousal abuse, but there's a lot of people cheating, people thinking their spouse is cheating, wanting to kill their spouse. I mean, just all kinds of things spouse related in a lot of these episodes.
Just like reality.
And we're gonna, speaking of Twin Peaks, Joan Chen is gonna be in an episode we're gonna talk about in. Well, we got one more episode to talk about before we talk about the one she's in, but we'll get to that. For now, I'm going to turn it over to TJ to start talking about As Ye Sow.
So Hector Elizondo thinks his wife is cheating on him. He's had people searching. He's hired investigators. They're not really coming up with anything concrete, but he still thinks that she's having an affair. He meets this other guy, played by Sam Waterston, who's this very sleazy, creepy ass. Like, I wouldn't go to him for anything. I wouldn't trust him.
No, I wouldn't either.
And I was like, this is Sam Waterston is pretty good at being, like, scary and odd and weird. Like, he's usually, like, a nice guy. Like, what's the show he's a lawyer on? And he was in that show with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin.
Oh,
Was it Martin Sheen? Where God, why can't I remember the name of it?
I know what you're talking about, but I'm forgetting the name too.
Where they're married, and then the wives find out that the two of them are having an affair.
Yeah.
Actually, which comes into play in an episode. Anyway, well, I won't spoil the episode that's coming. Anyway, yeah. So Sam Waterston's like, well, I don't know if she's guilty or not, but we'll figure it out. They come to think that she's having an affair with her priest because she seems to go into her priest upset, and then when she comes out, she's all happy and smiling. And Hector's like, well, isn't that because of her, getting absolved or whatever? And he goes, I don't know. So he thinks that the priest is boinking her. Which is so adultery, but adultery with a priest. That's like double worse, maybe. I don't know. So he hires a hitman through Sam Waterston's character, who's he's got a lot of irons in the fire. Is that what yeah. And so he's a private investigator. He also can hire people to kill your wife's
Are you a hitman? Hitman, yeah.
Yeah, you can hire a hitman. So so he and Sam Waterston, then he asks Sam like, when is it gonna happen? He's like, can't tell you. It'll happen someday. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen a month from now, but it'll happen. He follows his wife, who's going to confession. He pretends that he's a priest, and so he can find out exactly what happened. Even though he sort of believes what's going on, he still wants to know from her lips, I guess. So she's confessing, but she's not confessing to an affair. She's confessing to her mother died in childbirth or something like that, and she's been afraid to have conjugal. I guess that's only when you're in prison. Anyway, she's only having sex with him every once in a while, is because she's afraid to get pregnant because she doesn't want to die in childbirth. So she's not having an affair. So he blows his cover that he's not really a priest. He comes out of the little room. He's all excited, and then he sees this guy coming towards him, and he realizes that's the hitman. And he's like, "No, I'm not the priest." He takes off the collar.
Yeah.
"No, I'm the one who hired you." Nope. And the hitman kills him anyway. Yeah. His wife goes over, tries to comfort him, but he's dying. Miguel Ferrer is the hitman, who's uncredited, but he walks off, and that's the end of the episode. So she wasn't having an affair.
Nope.
He was just being paranoid, and if you're going to hire a hitman, you better have some kind of safe word that if you decide you don't want to do it,
And don't get Sam Watterson to hire a hitman for
Gosh,
you.
Sam Waterston. When he became gray, I think he became less crazy. He has dark hair. He's a lot more evil than when he has white hair. So
Um, so this one I still liked it, and I liked all the setup and all that. Um, but it's not gonna be my very favorite in my very favorite episodes list, I guess I should say.
yes.
But that's not due to it being a bad episode, and I think Kyle MacLachlan did a terrific job directing it. It had a lot of great actors and actresses in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing wrong with it. It just, for whatever reason, just didn't wow me like some of these others. Um, so what were your thoughts on the episode? Did you like it, TJ? Or
Yeah, it's the paranoid husband, the hiring a hitman. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward episode, but yeah, it was. You are guessing what's going on, and
right?
you wouldn't think the twist would be that she just was afraid to have sex because she didn't want to. She might die if she had a baby. Like that's a little bit of a like in the well, I'll talk about the comic, but I think the comic book had a better ending. I think they could have come up with something a little bit better, like a little bit more dramatic. I think it's sort of like a letdown, drama wise, but other than that, um, Patsy Kensit plays the wife, and she doesn't really get to do much.
Yeah, she
Someone
didn't
has
get
sex
to
with
do a lot.
what's his face in Lethal Weapon 2, um, Mel Gibson.
And she was in I want to say there was like a movie about Mia Farrow years and years ago, and I was thinking she played Mia Farrow at least in some parts of it. She was also in that movie Grace of My Heart with Aliana Douglas. Um, she's a good actress, but I'm like TJ. There wasn't really a lot for her to do
Yeah.
in this episode. So
And her Irish
um,
accent is very strong.
yeah, but I'll let TJ talk more about the differences in the comic and the episode.
The big difference is it actually she's actually having an affair. She's not. She's not. There's no convoluted reason. She literally is having an affair, but she decides that she's going to end the affair and she still loves him and he wants to be with her. That's another thing in the episode. It's like he tells at the beginning of the episode, he's like, I even if I find out she's cheating on me, I still will love her, and I think we can still work things out. Um, so that's sort of in both stories, but in the comic, there's a literally having an affair. Now remember, this is a comic book in the 50s, and there's an affair going on. Now we don't have a sex scene, but just the fact that kids are reading this, and it's like, wow. Especially back then, I would be like, are my parents gonna get a divorce? What's going on here?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's like a huge difference that she's actually having an affair. This was a shock suspense story, number 14, so this was like before the horror, which is not really a horror. I mean, it's more like a type
No.
of thing. Um, uh, and in the comic, there's no priest character, but she has her friend Helen, who she's talking on the phone to, and she's going to visit.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, in the comic, Helen calls while the husband's there, and she's like, I haven't talked to her in months. So there's that whole, oh shit, she's having it. She's definitely having an affair. I think he finds out on his own. I don't remember if there's a detective in it, but basically, he does hire a hitman, and it's the same ending. But yeah, that's the big difference that there was actually an affair in the comic, but there isn't an affair in the show. So
I think though, not having her have an affair worked better. Was like a bigger
unfortunately, the
twist.
ending was the reason was a bit better than it was. That,
Yeah.
oh, I'm afraid that if I have a baby, I'm like, really? So I guess she was only having sex with him when she was on her thing. I guess I'm
I
not gonna
guess,
say the word.
I guess we can blame good old Ron Finley for that because he did the screenplay for it. So maybe he came up with all that. Um,
But Kyle did a really good job.
yeah,
It, um,
yeah. No problem in the directing department from Kyle
I think
MacLachlan. No.
he's never directed before. I think that or after that was like his only directorial thing. Um,
It's a wonder he didn't ever like do any directing stuff for Twin Peaks or something.
or he was on Desperate Housewives too,
Desperate
which
Housewives.
is sort
Yeah,
of a very David Lynchy type of show, um, but more of a comedy, like a straight comedy version.
yeah.
It's a comedy with adultery and switching babies and killing your spouse and whatever. Yeah,
I don't think I ever watched an episode though of Desperate
I never
Housewives.
got into the Desperate Housewives thing. At the water cooler, what happened in Desperate Housewives? You stirring your coffee. Remember
No,
that?
when I was going to the office and working, I would generally bring up horror films or something like that. So
That's what people who work at home, they should have a virtual office so at least you could take a virtual coffee break and then talk with other people like on a Skype or something like that. That would be cool. That would be kind of interesting.
I mean, we have like sometimes we talk about what stuff that's going on with us at home and stuff in our meetings because we have a daily meeting for just the help desk people,
Yeah.
the help desk techs, and me and our boss, and so we talk about stuff, and we kind of share things in the team's chat too. Like I shared a picture of my Grinch punch, and then I shared the URL so people could, if they wanted to make it themselves, they could just go and get that recipe. And then my boss took the pictures I put in the main help desk chat and he put them in another section. He said, "Can you share that URL again?" Because he told everybody, he said, we're having a holiday party on the quad, he said. And people seem to like that. So but anyway, moving on. This is one of my favorite episodes of the ones that we watched for this time. Forever Ambergris. Is that how
Blood
you
and
pronounce it?
ambergris.
Ambergris. Sorry.
We got blood and boobs in this.
We did, yeah. There's plenty of boobs, plenty of blood. I mean, this would be a Joe Bob dream come true, I would think. So
We have Lisette Anthony, who plays um, Steve Buscemi's wife, and she was in. Well, she did the Trilogy of Terror sequel, Trilogy of Terror
oh
2.
yeah, yeah.
She played all three roles in that. She was also in they did a Dark Shadows revival in the early '90s. She played the witch Angelique in that.
She's very attractive, and I'm
Oh,
gonna say it. She has a good figure. I mean,
yeah. She was in Dracula Dead and Loving It, the Mel Brooks movie.
and so we not only do we have Steve Buscemi, we have
Yeah.
Paul Dooley,
Buscemi.
Marshall Bales.
Yes.
Sorry, TJ.
It's okay.
Uh,
Roger
I
Daltrey.
know I mispronounce. I massacre people's names sometimes. I really don't mean to.
That's okay.
Marshall Bell's in this. And for you Who fans, we have Roger Daltrey in this, playing a very nasty character in this one, pretty much.
He's a pretty good actor. Like,
Yeah, he is. He is.
sometimes the transition, like from singer to actor, not everybody can do it. Like Madonna. Anyway, but he's really like, and he gets really good parts. Like, he's just not like a hire because he's somebody famous or whatever. Like, I like Paul Dooley's funny. He's in this too.
Yeah, I always like Paul Dooley and stuff. He's really good. Um, it's directed by Gary. Is that
Fletter,
Fletter? Fletter.
Fletter. I don't know.
What else has he done, TJ? Do you know
A lot, but like I couldn't like.
anything we
I'm,
know?
like, I'm like I know a few directors, but like it looks like he did a lot of TV stuff. Gotta hate the way IMDb is set up now. It really sucks.
I know it does suck now. I don't know why they did that. Just
Like
to
yeah, he did a
confuse
lot
us,
of
I guess.
TV, one-off things. He directed an episode of Beauty and the Beast, a TV movie, Identity, which I don't know anything about. It doesn't look like he did anything like movies. Yeah, it looks like a lot of TV. Kiss the Girls. Oh, he did. Oh, that movie with Morgan Freeman and Carrie
Yeah,
Elwes. Have you ever seen that one?
I've seen it,
Actually,
but it's been a long time though.
it's a thriller, like a weird police thriller. I didn't really. That's a good movie. Yeah, a lot of TV.
But again, this was one of my favorites of the ones that we watched. So uh, lots of if you want gore, this is definitely gonna have it. If you want boobs, this is definitely going to have. If you want both of them, you're going to be in heaven because you're going to get plenty of both.
You get two.
So, but on you get the boobs on the very attractive woman in this
Mm-hmm.
episode.
And they're
Uh,
real guys.
they are real. They
You
are
can tell.
definitely real.
In one
Uh,
scene, you can definitely tell that they're real.
Jay would definitely like them because Jay has said that he likes the ones that God gave these women. So he would be very happy with that. So I'm gonna let TJ start talking about this episode.
So Roger Daltrey is a photographer. He's not necessarily a good photographer. He meets up with Ike, played by Steve Buscemi, who's a really good photographer. And he meets Buscemi's wife, Lisette Anthony, Bobby, and he's really attracted to her, but she's loyal. See, this one, she's loyal to her husband.
She is. She's hot, but she's loyal to her husband.
And she thinks Steve Buscemi is hotter than Roger Daltrey. Okay. Sure.
I didn't really get that, but whatever.
Yeah. Like there's some flirting with the two of them, but she doesn't go overboard where she's like, Anyway, they decide to go on this like trip. Roger Daltrey knows like these mercenary guys, and they're gonna take. It's sort of like reminds me of Cannibal Holocaust, where these people are this like what's his face was taken into the jungle with these guys who were like experts on the jungle, whatever. So that's that kind of idea in there. So yeah, they and we find out the island. There's some kind of that's not this. No. So they go on this. They go to this island and take pictures. And then we find out that there's this. He goes to this island. Roger Daltrey sends Steve Buscemi's character alone to take these photos because in this island, because on the island there's a disease that's taking over the island.
Yeah.
Which Roger Daltrey finds out because one of the mercenary guys says, "Oh yeah, you can't go there because you'll get this if you can get infected and you'll never come back." So he decides to send Steve Buscemi so he can get rid of the good photographer, but also get his photos. But then he can also get the wife. So Buscemi comes back. He gets the photos. Buscemi starts to disintegrate, basically. His eye, it's really. He starts getting
it's
all these
cool though.
all over him, like his skin's falling off, and then like his face, he starts puking, and his eyeballs comes
It
out.
just literally pushes out of his head.
Yeah, there's blood just spewing out of him. Um, Roger Daltrey sort of like tells him like, haha, I screwed you over, and I'm going to take your pictures and your wife, and you're going to die. He goes off. He's sitting with the mercenaries. Um, Steve Buscemi comes like walking over, and he looks like kind of like in RoboCop when the guy gets the toxic waste all over him. Everything's
Oh
sort of
yeah.
melting off of him. He gets one of the guns, and Roger Daltrey puts a bunch of bullets in him so he can't infect anybody else. He goes back. He lies and says, "Yeah, he died, and he's not coming back." And I took the photo. He said he took the photos, and so he's with Lisette Anthony, and he thinks he got away with it. And then she's like, one of the mercenaries talked to me and said, or sent a letter or whatever, and the letter said, you sent him there to get the disease, and you stole his photos, and then you gunned him down. But I don't believe it. And the two of them go to have sex, but before that, they have a little marijuana. So there's also drug abuse. So there's nudity, gore, and there's drug. So like all of them are in there. There's like this would have like a TV whatever, like TV 19 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
So they're having sex to sort of cement that they're now together. But no, guess what? The drugs that the marijuana they were smoking was laced with balsam from the island that Steve Buscemi had sent back. So it was contaminated. And she knew it. She knew about it, so she knew everything. And she would rather die. She says it earlier in the episode that she would rather die than be without her husband that she was in love with. And as a revenge, but also to make good on her promise, she contaminates them both. She starts bleeding, and like I said, everything starts melting, and you sort of see her from the side view, like her chest is sort of melted off, and her face is all melted off, and then Roger Daltrey starts wiping the blood off. He goes into the bathroom, and he starts getting infected, and his nose comes off. So it's like
it comes off when he raises up and looks. It's like
It's real sloshy and gooey, and it's really good, great ending. Very easy ending where the bad guy gets his comeuppance. Of course, the wife also dies too, but whatever. But
I guess she didn't want to live without her husband.
Yeah, so. She says that. She deliberately says, "I don't want to live without him," and she says, "I keep my." She keeps her promises, so she's very trustworthy.
So yeah, I think this was probably my favorite of the 7 that we're going to cover tonight. I mean, all of them were good in one way or another, but I don't know. I guess I was just in the mood just to see all that splattery, goodness coming from an episode, and I was like, man, this they're not pulling any punches with this one. This one may have been pushing the envelope even for HBO at that time. Because when you start mixing sex with something gross like that, and it was like, even though she didn't really want to have sex with Roger Daltrey's character, she wasn't interested in him that way. She loved her husband. She loved him even after he was already dead and gone. But it almost seemed like she was still in the process of having sex when her skin and stuff started to, I know, it was like
it was a weird sex, but falling apart physically.
Yeah.
Like moment. So she's sort of in ecstasy, but like she's sort of getting turned on maybe by her body disintegrating. I don't know.
Yeah, there was
A
something
fetish.
bizarre
This is
going.
definitely a fetish episode.
So I gotta know. This had to be like really, really different in the comic than
Yes.
was presented
There's
on
a lot of
HBO.
differences in the comic. So we first start with the Roger Daltrey character, I guess, sort of narrating. I killed a man, stole his wife. Here's the story. So it starts off with that. So it's told like a narration, and then we get sort of a flashback to like I said, he meets the guy and his wife. He falls for the wife. The wife's only see. There's a difference. The wife's only married to the guy for his money, so she's not really in love with him. So in the episode, she loves Steve Buscemi. She dies for him. That's how much she loved him. Like she can't live with him. She'd rather die. In the comic, it's more of a just I'm having an affair with this guy and I love him, not the guy who I'm married to. So yeah, that's another thing too. It's like these like 2 episodes in a row have adultery. They're not
Yeah,
in
well,
the comic. In the comic, this was also a Tales from the Crypt 44 episode.
mhm.
Um,
This definitely seemed like a Tales from the Crypt.
oh yeah. So, but there's still the same thing. There's an island. There's the bubonic plague on the island. Um, in the episode, it's like a disease, and it's like it has a weird name. But in this, it's like specifically they mention something that's a real thing.
Uh-huh.
Also, the title comes more into play. So ambergris is it's comes out of a whale, like when a whale sort of eats like shells and stuff like that. The shells scrape up against the insides of the whale, and it makes this stuff called ambergris, which is sort of like it's worth something. Like you could sell it for thousands of dollars if you get like a good chunk of it. People eat it. People make perfume out of it. So that's sort of what it does in the comic. It's made into perfume. So in the comic, like I said, so we have the guy who's in love with this other guy's wife. He wants to kill the guy. He sends the guy to this island to get this disease. In the comic, on the way back on the boat, the character is suffering from the illness, so he's already falling apart. So we get this nice drawing of this guy who's sort of looks all gross and disturbing in the EC drawing style of disintegrating gross bodies. And in this, he's falling apart. He falls overboard, but as he's falling overboard, he falls against the railing, and the railing cuts him in half. So the body falls into the ocean. So later on, they see a whale, and the whale coughs up some ambergris, and he's like, "Oh, we'll pick up this ambergris, and we'll make some money off of it." Here's where the twist starts. So he goes back to the woman. She has unlike the episode, she could care less about her husband being dead. But the ambergris was made into a perfume, which he gives to the girl, or he sends it to the woman, and he comes to see her at the end of the comic, and her body's all falling apart. The smell is beautiful. Meanwhile, she's all rotted and gross and everything, and he had given her the contaminant. So it wasn't ambergris that he got. It was from the body of the dead guy, which is what just the whale had either eaten it or whatever, or they picked it up in the water thinking it was from the whale, but it wasn't from the whale. It was from the dead body. So he had basically killed 2 people, one of them accidentally and one of them on purpose. So yeah, there's a lot of differences.
But it still sounds like an interesting story that holds up well and all that, even with the differences.
Yeah, if you like, especially if you like, somebody telling a story who's like not a good person, and they're winking at the audience, haha, look what I got away with. And then at the episode, the end of the story, it's like, nope, you did not get away with anything.
You should not know. Uh, and you don't, usually you don't get away with stuff in a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next one, Food for Thought. This is the one with Joan Chen in it.
This is a weird one.
It is a weird one, and Ernie Hudson stars in this too. And Ernie Hudson is an evil bastard in this.
He's so good at being evil. He should do more.
Yeah.
He also was in Grace and Frankie. He also was in a bunch of episodes.
And Ghostbusters.
Yes, well, everybody knows that. If you don't know,
everybody knows him, and I couldn't get the image of him from Ghostbusters out of my brain all the time I was watching.
I think he's been in every episode of every movie version of Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in the all-female cast version too. I think he's in that too.
And we also have Phil Fondacaro. Did I pronounce that right?
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
So TJ's not sure, so we'll just go along.
Sounds like his name. What his name is.
And we have some twins, Catherine Howe and Margaret Howe, who play, I guess, would it be okay to call them Siamese twins?
No. Conjoined.
No. Conjoined. Okay. Hope I didn't make anybody else.
They're like white girls.
I know, but in the old days, that's what they called them, whether they were.
Yeah. Because it's set in a circus when there's a sideshow, so it's got all the, which aren't any circuses anymore. If you're a millennial, you're like, what's the circus?
Yeah, you don't have any idea what a circus is.
Animals, it's illegal to keep animals, unless you're that crazy woman who kept the animals and the Tiger King lady. What the hell her name is?
Oh yeah.
The one who didn't kill her wife. Yeah, okay. Her husband. She didn't kill her husband. Yeah, she didn't kill her husband. Like whatever. Anyway.
Oh no, she's batshit crazy. I know that.
Yeah.
C was watching all that stuff at one time. I was like, these people are batty.
Doug Jones is also in it. He plays a contortionist.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So the tall, lanky guy. It's Doug Jones.
But I like this one, but this one was probably, I'd say this one for me was probably the weakest of the ones I watched. Other than the ending, but I don't want to give away the ending just yet. I thought the ending was great.
Yes.
And Ernie Hudson's great in it. He's just the evil dude in this. So I'm going to turn it over to TJ for a second. And I'm yawning up a storm, and I believe it may be my blood sugar. So I don't want to go crazy on you guys. So I'm going to go grab something while TJ starts talking about this episode.
Go, girl, go. Okay. We have Ernie Hudson as Zambini and Joan Chen as his wife, Connie. They have an act in the circus where they're mind readers. He'll take something from So I'll explain. So we see how they work. They're actually mind readers. It's not a trick. So he goes to the audience. He gets the Bible off of one of the guys because this is, it's a traveling circus. So they're in these small towns or whatever, and of course they're somewhere deep in the South because these guys got very deep Southern accents. So he reads the passage. He takes the Bible from a guy. He picks the passage. And in his mind, he's thinking of the passage, and Joan Chen's character reads his mind, reads the what it says in the book, and the guy takes his Bible back and goes, it's real. She that's exactly what the passage is. So we find out that their marriage is pretty lousy. He's abusive towards her. He's sort of like keeping her, like, he won't even let her like talk to any of the other people in the circus. Meanwhile, she sort of falls in love with like the lion tamer guy. Um, um, but so back to the psychic thing. She can read her husband's mind, but he can't read her mind. Um, she falls for the lion tamer guy, um, and while the two of them are having sex, um, Zambini hears her call the guy she's having sex with's name. I think it's Johnny. Um, and he's like, "Oh, I can finally hear her. So maybe now that she's in love, I guess she can now her mind is easier to read or whatever." Meanwhile, he's very jealous. He sets Johnny on fire, which is pretty bad.
Yes, that's gruesome.
And it's a really good fire effect. Like there's a really good burning burning stuntman effect. He's screaming in pain. They find the body the next day. They think it's an accident, but Joan Chen knows that he was killed by Zambini. She finally gets the courage to leave him because originally she was going to run away with Johnny. So there's a bunch of that drama where she's like, "I can't leave because he'll find us, but no, I love you, so I'm going to leave with you." So she leaves. Then Zambini starts hearing her voice. Come, I can't live without you. I want to be with you. Blah blah blah. That kind of thing. But we find out it's not her, and he was never reading his wife's mind. He was reading the mind of the gorilla, who was one of Johnny's in Johnny's act. One of the gorilla was like part of the. So it wasn't just a lion tamer, but he was like one of the animal. He was an animal. He had animal act, is what he had, and the gorilla. She was not. She was secretly in love with because no one can no one can understand a gorilla. So she was actually in love with Johnny, and as an act of revenge, she rips apart Zambini in a bloody mess of body parts and guts and whatever. And yeah, that's the end of the episode.
But like I said, I love the ending of it, but it just, I don't know. Again, it wasn't a bad episode. It just wasn't, it wasn't as much fun as, like, for instance, the one before it. Because even though that was bloody and gory and nasty and all that, I don't know, it just seemed to flow better. And I don't think I think Joan Chen is a good actress, and I don't think they really gave her enough to do.
She was sort of just the sexy character.
Yeah.
It was torn between, or like there's a point where it reminded me of her Twin Peaks character because she's sort of in a relationship that she doesn't want to be in. She's being forced into a relationship, so it's sort of the same thing actually, except she's not psychic in that. If she was, she would have known not to get killed.
But she always has that haunted look, especially when she was real young like that in her.
She's very beautiful too.
Yeah, she is a very beautiful woman, and I think she has sad eyes though, very haunted, sad eyes.
Which work well for her characters that she's played. I don't
Yes.
think I've ever seen her play like a happy-go-lucky character.
I don't think I have either. Steve was watching something, and I thought it was a newer show, but maybe it wasn't, or a movie or something that
Joan
I
Chen?
said, I was like, "Isn't that Joan Chen?" And Steve was like, "Yeah." And I'm gonna have to ask him what that was. That he
Was it Murder at the End of the World?
That was it. That was it. Yeah.
I haven't watched that, but
Steve seems to like it, but he always watches. He will go lay down in the bed and then he'll watch that stuff. And I'm not ready to go lay down yet, so it's like I just don't want to go get in the bed. I mean, it just makes me hurt. I mean, wouldn't it make you guys your body hurt if you wasn't really sleepy yet, but you were, had to go get in the bed to watch TV with your spouse? I mean, it's just, or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. It's just,
Doesn't
uh,
matter to me. I can sleep. I can sleep with noise, the sun coming through the windows. I can like go. I can sleep right through it.
you could sleep with sun coming through the window. I can't even do that.
I'll like I'll stay up late and then like I'll go to bed at 6 in the morning and then I'll sleep and I'll wake up at 3 and I'm like there could be hot sun coming through the window and I'd sleep right through.
Now, if I'm sick, that's one thing. Or if I just do too much and overextend my body, because I'm getting to that age where, you can overextend yourself and then it'll take you a week to recover after you've, done that to yourself. And so if anybody notices me, I mean, I think part of it was my blood sugar, but part of it is I really wanted to do this stream, which is why I did it. But I've just been like, I was making the thumbnail
Mm-hmm.
for this and was getting ready to, send the link to TJ. And I was not almost nodding off sitting here in front of the computer. It's like, geez, Louise, I can't do anything anymore. I'm not, you know. But Blissel says, ugh, TJ, I'm going to 5 minutes shun you.
Why?
Because she says she has sad eyes playing in her head. And then I don't know
Is that a song?
I don't know about the shunning you though.
Dana's the one who said the words. What did I
Well,
do?
she did say that. Now I have sad eyes playing in my head, Dana. LOL. But then she said,
Oh,
"Oh, TJ, I'm going to 5 minutes shun you."
think of Christmas music. Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin wig. The Batmobile broke its wheel and the Joker got away.
Oh, she's shunning you for being able to sleep like you do.
Oh yeah.
TJ's one of them lucky ones, I guess.
I'm gonna have something on. Like I can't just fall asleep to quiet. Like I can't.
Yeah, you gotta have some kind of white noise, like.
Yeah, or I can fall asleep to like a TV show. Like I was at the computer the other day watching, doing something on the computer, and then I had like Netflix on,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like doing whatever, and then next thing I know, it's 5 episodes later of what I was watching, and I don't remember because I fell
Yeah,
asleep.
I've done stuff like that. I fell asleep on the couch or something. Like if I'm watching a television show, it'll be literally 4 or 5 episodes in, and I'll be like, "What in the heck? What happened here?"
I'm literally like at the computer, like this. I am now I'm sleeping like this.
I used to didn't fall asleep almost in front of the computer, but now I will do. I'll do it at the drop of a hat. Um,
I'd probably never do it on the edge of a cliff or anything like that. I don't trust myself to
oh
know.
please, yeah, let's not do that. But um, so you didn't talk about the differences between the
No,
two.
I guess no, we got off on a tangent. Let's see. Food for thought. Food for thought. It's a little bit different in the comic version. Um, he can control what thoughts she listens to, so it's not what thoughts she can hear. So it's not the whole. He can only hear. I mean, she can only hear his. I mean, he. All right, in the episode, she can hear his thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
but in the comic, he can block his thoughts from her. So it's not that same thing. Also, there's no gorilla ending. In the ending, all right. So in the comic, there's the affair. Um, he doesn't burn the guy to death, but in the comic, he locks him in the lion cage, and the lion attacks him and kills him.
Oh, okay.
And makes it look like it was an accident. I think that was more of a way to make it an accident than the being set on fire. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree there.
Unless you burn the whole circus down, then you can make it look like an accident. But so that's the thing, and she in the comic she knows that he did it because she could read his mind, um, and uh, she's like, I hate you because you killed the guy I was in love with. Um, um, but he doesn't get away like that. He gets so a beam from a beam from like the circus tent or whatever falls on him, crushes him, and they think he's dead. But she can read his mind. He's just paralyzed. But when the people come to see the body, she doesn't tell them that he's alive.
Oh, okay.
She lets him get buried alive, and she's like, "Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah." She's like, "Oh, he wanted to be buried, and we should do it right away." And so he's screaming in his mind, and she's ignoring him because she's as revenge for him killing her lover. He gets buried alive, but that's not the end of it.
Uh-huh.
So he's in the grave. They have the funeral. She can hear him screaming, I'm alive, and she's like, haha, screw you, dude, you're dead. But later that evening, his body is dug up from the grave by a ghoul who then proceeds to eat his body. And that's how it ends. So it's like a double ending. Like,
Yeah.
he's dead, gets buried alive, but doesn't just die. He gets eaten. So he gets eaten alive. So so it's like a double twist.
So there was a ghoul in there at the end.
Yeah. Which, take it or leave it. I think it's kind of a cool. I like a double twist sometimes.
Yeah, I do too.
So I think that sort of adds an extra level to it than in the episode version. So that's like the biggest. Yeah, he kills. Yeah, he's a lion tamer in the comic. That's why I was getting confused. And then there's like some news about a wild beast attacking people and ripping apart the body, which is actually the ghoul at the end of the episode. So it fits into the whole story, which I think it fits a lot better. But there's not that little extra in the.
Yeah, he was like what, a fire eater in the episode or something. He did stuff with fire.
Yeah, I can't remember something like that.
But so moving on to the 5th episode, people who live in brass hearses.
Yes.
With not only Bill Paxton, but we have Brad Dourif in this.
Yes.
And Michael Lerner is also in this as well.
And Lainey Kazan. Lainey Kazan is in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
This is an actual episode I have the comic version of.
Oh, cool. But I like this one. I thought that this one was a lot of fun and has a really cool twist that I guess it had been so long since I watched this particular episode that I'd forgotten the twist. But in my opinion, it's a pretty cool one. But I don't want to give that away. I think Bill Paxton had the ability, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but he had the ability to play characters you weren't sure of, like oh gosh, Frailty. If anybody's ever seen the movie Frailty, he could play leading man parts. He could play assholes. He could, he was
just, game over. He can do comedy.
Yeah, he was just kind of like a jack of all trades. He was very versatile. He could do a lot of different roles.
He was a Bill of all trades.
A Bill of all trades, that's right. So if you ever thought ice cream vendors, ice cream guys that drive around their little ice cream trucks were weird and creepy, this will probably intensify that thought process. So I'm going to turn it back over to TJ to talk about people who live in brass hearses.
Ah, yes. Um, so Bill Paxton and um, um, Brad Dourif pray, play brothers in this. Bill Paxton sort of he's an ex-con. His brother's sort of whatever my brother says. He's my big brother. I listen to whatever he says. I do whatever he wants. Um, he's not too bright. He's kind of an idiot. Um,
Brad Dourif's very childlike in this
yeah.
episode.
I don't want to say how he comes off, so I'm
Yeah.
just going to say he was not very smart. Um,
Could we say mentally handicapped or
we could, but I think it sort of belittles the story if you
uh,
give him excuse.
yeah, I
You know,
see.
I think because he deserves kind of, this is a comeuppance. It's Tales from the Crypt,
Mhm.
so you kind of, yeah, it's an injustice to the story, but to say that it's not his fault. So I'm gonna just say he's very naive and
And listens to his big brother.
yeah. So let's just say that. I don't want to be all woke, but actually, if we were gonna get political, that would be my rant. Like, remember when woke has like two meanings, but everybody uses it as the bad meaning. Um, so I don't want to get into that. Anyway, let's go. So anyway, so yeah, and uh, Michael Lerner plays Mr. Bird, who is the local ice cream truck driver. All the kids love him. He does little puppet shows for the kids. Now Bill Paxton has a sort of his character sort of has a history with him. It's Michael Lerner basically. Um, Bill Paxton's character had done something illegal. Um, Michael Lerner's character, um, whether he told on him or was responsible for him going to jail in whatever way. I don't think we learned exactly what happened. Um, who knows if like a cop asked him a question and he goes, "Yeah, I remember him walking into one of those things where you're like, not necessarily he did it on purpose, but um, anyway." So Michael Lerner is sort of like a kindly guy. So anyway, um, so there's the part of the scene, part of the episode. Uh, Michael Lerner, Mr. Bird is driving his truck. Um, Bill Paxton sort of wants to give him a hard time. Also, Bill Paxton's character has like a weird obsession. He likes butter. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's eating that stick
like
of butter,
butter. Like
and he asked Brad Dourif. He's like, "You want some of this, or you want some butter?" And he's like, "No."
at the beginning of the episode when he's talking to Brad Dourif, he's like eating the butter, and he doesn't really look like he's eating it. I think that was a trick of the of acting
Mm,
because you don't see him eating it. You just see
no.
him running the wrapper across his face and then chewing like I
You
don't think.
know, though, I found that gross that Bill Paxton's character was supposedly eating butter in this. But when,
Now I admit when I'm like buttering bread and it's like in a container, I will kind of scoop a little up and lick it off.
well, I was going to say, when I was a kid, sometimes when we would go to my grand's house, my dad's mom, I would take butter and spread it on saltine crackers and eat it.
Okay,
I
butter, just eating butter.
Yeah, but just eating butter by itself, no. I don't wanna do
I in a restaurant, I would eat a little pat of butter. I'd unwrap it and I'd kind of eat it. I mean, you eat you eat when you're hungry. I mean, yeah. So anyway, yeah, he has this weird thing about butter, and when he goes up to Mr. Bird, he's like asking, "Do you have this, butter this, butter that?" He's like,
Yeah,
"No."
butter pecan and all
Yeah,
this
buttercup.
stupid.
Yeah, and he's like, "No, no, I have butterscotch," and he's like,
Yeah.
"I guess I'll take that." Like it's not really butter. Actually, I don't even know what butterscotch the flavor is made out of. I mean, what is butterscotch?
You
It's
know,
just
I don't know. Good question.
it's just sweet. I'll look that up later. I don't care right now. Um, so he's like, yeah, and he sort of like leaves the scene and like makes kind of leaves Michael Lerner kind of at ease, but he goes into the car and he's like, he gives he gets the ice cream, he gives it to his brother, and the brother's like, well, Mr. Bird's a nice guy, and he's like slaps him and like slaps the ice cream out of his hand. He's like threatening him and stuff like that. So that gives you a little personality or whatever. So he hates Mr. Bird. Meanwhile, Bill Paxton's character gets his brother. Him and his brother concoct a plan to steal money from his boss where he works. They work at a vendor place. They vend out food and whatever to trucks and deliveries and that kind of stuff. Lena Kazan's sort of like whether she's the owner or she's the head person, like the manager or whatever. Brad Dourif has to distract her while Bill Paxton's stealing the money from the safe or whatever. Or no, that's not what happens. Now I can't remember because
I think he sends Brad Dourif to like keep her distracted for a while, and Brad Dourif for whatever reason goes overboard.
Yeah, but I forget. Does Bill Paxton, is he not able to get in there for some reason? Because or is
well, okay, so they were supposed to leave the safe open, and he was supposed to somehow get the woman out of the way and then, knock her out or do something so that Bill Paxton could just steal the money out of the safe. Well, Brad Dourif ends up like, does he chop her up with an axe or something? I mean, he chops into her, and for whatever reason, she ends up closing the safe, and he can't get into it. Bill Paxton was expecting the safe to be open when he went over there.
Okay, I think now I remember. I think Bill Paxton's hiding, so I think he was. I can't remember now. Was he supposed to? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, see, I'm confused now. What you said, and then, whatever. They try to steal the money from the job. It goes wrong. Brad Dourif ends up killing, or he thought he killed the manager.
Mm-hmm.
She comes crawling out. Meanwhile, Mr. Bird has shown up to get his delivery for his ice cream truck, and he talks to the manager a little bit.
And she's kind of hitting on him, and she gets mad.
She's like, oh, there's a vendors awards thing, and because he makes he does a really good business. So he's like, oh, you win awards, you should actually come to one of the events, and oh, I got a new dress, and maybe we can go together. And he's like, no, I really can't, I'm busy. And her advances are not working. So she goes to get his stuff for his thing, because for some reason, for 15 years, he hasn't gotten off his ass to load his own truck.
No.
She's like, why doesn't he come and load his own truck? Meanwhile, she's also upset that, he's not going to go to the award ceremony with her. So she's sort of pissed off, and she's like, that bastard, he won't get off his ass, and, whatever. And then she ends up getting, we think she's dead because Bill Paxton goes in there and there's blood all over the walls. It looks like Jason came over and like slapped up a bunch of people. There's blood all over the wall, and it's like, wow, he really had an issue trying to kill her. Meanwhile, the safe is locked. They can't get to the money. Bill Paxton's just like pissed off. He's practically crying. He's so upset that his stupid brother screwed up. Not only killed the woman. So now, not only did they try to steal the place, now they have murder one. Mm. And they're both responsible for murdering somebody. So he's just like, oh my God, you idiot! You just screwed up everything. not only did we're not getting any money, but you just killed somebody, and now we're screwed. So they're trying to get away. They see Lady Kazan. She's actually still alive, and she's crawling, trying to get some help. And she's just bleeding. She can't talk. Mr. Bird is just getting frustrated, and you see him sort of like almost looking towards where the body is, and Bill Paxton is on the ground beside her, trying to grab something to stop her. He grabs a hook, and he's trying to hook her to stop her. He ends up slamming it into her head, killing her, drags her body off just in time for Mr. Bird to turn, and he doesn't see anything. He's fed up with waiting. He ends up leaving. They hide the body, but they're screwed. So they have no money. They're hopefully going to try to get away with killing somebody. So they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? We're screwed. And then Brad Dourif's like, well, let's rob the ice cream man. Maybe because earlier on in the episode, I always miss the parts that I have to go back to. So earlier on in the episode, we see that Mr. Bird is getting a lot of money from
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Tons of money. So Brad Dourif's like, hey, remember we realized that he's making so much money? Let's go and rob him. So they're going to go and rob Mr. Bird. And they go. They search his house. For the money. Michael Lerner, Mr. Bird catches them. They shoot Mr. Bird in the head, killing him. Like there's a good chunk of his head that.
Oh yeah.
There's another bloody episode and some good special effects in it too. Yeah, the whole side of his face gets blown off. They go through his house trying to find the money. They end up finding it in the freezer in the little chocolate, ice cream boxes, and there's like tons of money. Meanwhile, Brad Dourif's in the back, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing back there?" Well, we find out he's dead. Michael Lerner isn't dead, and they're like, "How are you not dead?" And he's like, he starts talking about, "Oh, you loved your brother? I love my brother too."
Mm-hmm.
And he starts talking about this stuff, and Bill Paxton's like, doesn't know what the hell's going on, and we find out he has a twin brother who is connected ass to ass, basically.
Basically, yeah.
So, he's like, "Yeah, I love my brother." Meanwhile, he turns around, his brother's attached to his body. His brother's sort of like, dead and like flopping around. Which in reality, dead weight, a person's dead body is heavy because there's no like give to it, and it's basically all frigid and whatever. So I mean, it comes off a little goofy that it's sort of like bopping around in the background.
Yeah,
but it's also a cool like reveal, like his dead brother is so that's why. So earlier on in the episode, he's driving the ice cream truck. He closes the window so you can't see into the truck, and then you see him in the back of the truck to give out candy to the kids and to do the puppet show, is because the one twin is driving and the other twin is giving the ice cream to the kids, and the twin giving the kids the ice cream is sort of like the fun, happy one, but he doesn't like to go out in public. Meanwhile, the one in the front's more like he's a little off, let's say.
But there's another kind of clue that I didn't catch it at first until it got to the ending and the twist is revealed.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's doing the puppet show for the kids, and he's able to drink a drink, but still the voice still comes through. So that makes complete sense, at the end of the episode, because his twin brother was the one doing all the talking, and therefore he was able to drink the drink while he was doing it.
He goes after his brother's dead. He's like, yeah, he really liked doing those voices.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he ends up killing Bill Paxton. So both of those brothers are dead.
Mm.
And there's a coda to the episode where he's driving the ice cream truck, and it says half off.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because his brother's dead, who is his his conjoined twin. So that's kind of a joke about half off, which I think is very funny. And he one of the kids says, your ice cream sucks now, and you smell. And then the kids go off, and he says to his dead brother, "You hear that? We smell, I guess."
Yeah.
It's to show you that even though he sort of gets revenge, now that his brother's dead, he just doesn't care about life anymore, and it's sort of it's an extra sad ending that his brother's dead, and he's sort of
kind of giving up a little bit.
Whatever. And yeah, it's kind of a sad ending. Even though the bad guys get it, but.
Yeah, but the bad guys usually got to get their come up in some way in these episodes. So I really like this one. I agree with TJ though that the ending was kind of, in a lot of ways, a downer ending.
Mm-hmm.
So be really happy when you watch it.
Yes.
I tell people, if there are dark places or if something's extremely dark and you want to watch it, just make sure you're in a really happy or really good mood when you do so. I'm interested to know what the differences between this episode and the comic are.
Yep. So, the title makes more sense in the comic because the Mr. Bird literally drives a hearse.
Ah.
So it opens up. So it's probably set in the maybe not the Western, maybe after the Western days. So there's this guy who everybody makes fun of him because he drives in a hearse, and he lives on the outskirts of town all by himself. And he comes to town for food, for supplies. So that's sort of like it is in the episode. But he's in a hearse, and people make fun of it. Why is he in a hearse, and what's he hiding, or whatever. So it starts off with him getting a pickup at the local general store, and the guy's like, "Hey, how come you never get off your hearse?" And because it's like a horse-drawn carriage type of thing. He's like, "How come you don't pick up your come in? You should come in my store sometime and get your own stuff and look around." And he's like, "No, I just kind of like being up on here." So meanwhile, he's hiding something, but no one really knows what it is. So there are these two criminals that come across his house, and they're being chased by some cops. So they go to this guy. They go to Mr. Bird's house, not knowing anybody's there, to hide from the cops. They find him there. They end up killing him. But he's not. He's not dead, but he is dead because it's the same twist where it's his twin brother, and the twin brother is the one that gets killed. Meanwhile, he's stuck, conjoined, to his brother. He kills the two guys, and that's kind of the big twist. That there's really no. It's not an ice cream truck. There's no two brothers who are trying to steal the money. There are two criminals, but it's a little less complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more the backstory of why is this guy, who's this guy, why does he drive a hearse? He's driving a hearse because in the back of the hearse is his dead brother. But in the end of the comic book, it's sort of in the comic his brother's sort of like a rotted corpse. And in the episode, it's more like the next day, and it's just a rotted body kind of.
Right.
Is the
Oh, cool.
I think it looks a lot cooler, but it's like there's this dead skeleton sort of hanging off of his body. Yeah. Oh no, there is a he doesn't he kills the two guys that kill his brother, but he buries them alive.
Oh, so we got another thing where people get buried alive.
Yeah. So it's a little different. Like in the episodes in the show, it's a little different because obviously they're not episodes. The comic stories aren't one after the other. It's like
Right.
different issues that. But I mean, how many horror stories can you do? I think the twists are different. The methods of death maybe are a little kind of used over and over again. But yeah. Oh, and this was a Vault of Horror 27 original.
So not a Tales from the Crypt, but it was a Vault of Horror.
Yeah, it's interesting. This whole beginning of this season was October, so we're still in October.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, the first 3 episodes were all. I guess that was the habit. I still don't remember, but I guess they released the first 3 episodes as a 90-minute like movie. I guess.
Oh yeah, they must have because they were.
Dates for the first 3 episodes of the same date, so I guess they did that every year. Huh.
So.
But yeah, so that's for people who live in brass hearses. It's weird when they change the idea of the story and then the titles make no sense.
Yeah, I mean they would probably make sense, when the comic came out, but like, I mean, what I'm just wondering if they wanted to stick so much so to the original story as far as the title,
Yeah.
Even if it didn't make much sense, because
it's hard to have somebody driving a hearse. I guess it makes more sense if it's like an old timey story. I don't know. But there's no ambergris in the TV version, so it makes no sense.
Right, exactly. I didn't really know that story about the ambergris, so now I learned something. Because I wasn't sure.
Bob's Burgers.
Okay, gotcha. I never watched an episode of Bob's Burgers though. I can't say that I've ever watched it. So, moving on to our next to last episode for the night. This is two for the show. I really like this one. We've got David Paymer's in this. Tracy Lords is in this. Jay would like this too because Tracy Lords is in it.
She's legal in this one.
She is legal in this one. And I find that I never watched any porn that she was in, so I can't speak to that. But like regular stuff that she was in, I thought Tracy Lords was attractive, except in the movie Skinner. But I don't think she was supposed to be attractive in that. She was supposed to be a scarred woman.
Yeah.
Because
she's an actress too. She's, you think, oh, she's a porn star. She's not going to be a good actor, but
right.
The roles she's in are pretty good. Like, and I would say they're character roles too. They're not. She's not just. She's the hot chick, yeah, but like in the John Waters movie, Hairspray. I think.
Yeah.
She has a pretty good character in that.
She was in the Tommy Knockers miniseries, and that was TV. So, and she doesn't take her clothes off on this episode, or not that I recall.
I don't think she did much. No, she's in Crybaby. I'm sorry, but she didn't do much. She didn't do much nudity when she was a legitimate actor.
Yeah.
Same with Ginger Lynn Allen. Well, maybe not. No, she tried to not be naked. Never mind. She ended up being. I think she was in
tried not to.
The Rob Zombie movies naked.
I think so.
She was past the prime where she should be naked in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I heard she's very nice, but as a person, but
I think she was one of the last years that I remember me and Steve going to Cinema Wasteland. They had her do like a panel or a Q&A type thing, and she was talking about the porn industry and all the different people.
Yeah.
And I mean, she seemed like a nice enough woman, and I've said this about Darcy, the mail girl. I mean, she's been in porn too, but which I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in seeing any porn she's in.
If you look at her Twitter, it's practically porn.
Yeah, I will
Once a
say
week,
that
at least once a week, she puts up some nude.
nude pictures. Usually there's fake blood involved as well, but
Sometimes she's just not. Sometimes it's just her naked.
TJ goes on her Twitter every day. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if he does or not. But anyway, back to two for the show.
Tracy Lords.
This is another one where one spouse wants out of the marriage. They've fallen out of love with their significant other, and there's talk of infidelity and all kinds of things, but this one has some real twists in it, which I really, really enjoyed, but I don't want to give those away till we get there. So TJ can start talking about two for the show.
Okay, we have what the hell is his name? David Paymer from City Slickers and a bunch of other crap. He finds out his wife is cheating on him, kills her, strangles the hell out of her. So that's Tracy Lord. She's gone right at the beginning of the. She's the Drew.
Yeah, she don't last too long.
It's like Drew Barrymore from Scream. She gets killed off like right at the beginning. He hides her body in a trunk.
Yeah, he cuts her up and puts her in a trunk.
He cuts her body up, puts her in a trunk. The cops. A cop comes to her house, played by what the hell's his name?
Is that Vincent Spano?
Spano, whatever his name is, from tons of crap. Rumblefish. Ever seen Rumblefish?
I have, but again, that's been years since I saw it. I think I saw it. They had us watch it in school, like in an English class or something.
He's in The Prophecy 3, which, like, don't even bother.
Don't even bother with that.
I'm just naming the first thing I saw on. He's been in a lot of stuff, too. Anyway, second. You can't hear me typing, can you? Okay.
I don't know. I find typing soothing to hear somebody type.
So he kills his wife. We go to a police station where they get a call. There's been some screams from the neighbors. Spano goes to investigate. He knows the address, but he's like, is this? He mentioned something about the address, and the cop's like, oh, have you heard of it? And he goes, no, and I'm like, that's very suspicious.
Yeah, we think you have, dudes.
So he goes to investigate. The guy's like, oh, I had a fight with my wife. She left town. I don't know where she is anymore. I don't care.
I think, doesn't he eventually say she went to Chicago?
Yeah, he says
went back to Chicago.
She had an affair. She left. Whatever. He's looking. The cop's kind of looking around, trying to figure out what's going on. He may or may not. He doesn't seem to really believe the guy. What's going on? He sees the trunk. Opens the trunk. There's nothing in the trunk. The cop leaves. We find out that he hit her body in the bathtub. It's like bubble bath. Her face is sort of peeking out. And he sort of covers up the body. He's like, nope, she's not here. The cop leaves. He gets the body parts, throws them in the trunk. He takes the trunk to train station. Was it the airport? Or is it I think it's the train station.
Yeah, it's a train station. Mm-hmm.
He's gonna he's gonna he's gonna leave the body there with some with in the trunk with like a ticket, so it gets transferred off, and they lose track of it, and he gets away with it. Who does he see at the train station? The cop dressed in normal clothes. He's like,
Right.
"Hey, how you doing? Oh,
He comes along like they're best buddies or something.
He's like, oh, I didn't recognize you. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing some plain clothes work. And he's like, oh, okay. He happens to be taking the same train as the husband there.
TJ, you've seen like Strangers on a Train.
That's what I got. I got very Strangers on the Train
I,
vibe.
I was gonna ask you that if you got that from that. So I was like, man, this feels like Strangers on a Train, man.
Because they start talking about, your wife has an affair. How would you kill your wife?
Yeah, how would you kill her?
Actually, I think this had to have been taken from that to an extent. But meanwhile, they do it in the comic too. There's like the train scene too in the comic. So I don't know when Strangers on a Train was written and when the comic came out. So I'm wondering the overlap was there. But
yeah, but
I'll look that up sometime. Maybe I'll bring it up when we do our the whole season rundown of the. What our thoughts was of the whole season of Tales from. Anyway,
Strangers on a Train, by the way, was 1951.
Yeah, so they might have taken the story from that of the comic story, because I think the comic was in like the mid 50s, like 52, 54, 55 maybe. I don't know. I'll look that up. Anyway, so yeah, we have a nice train scene. The husband ends up throwing the suitcase off of the train.
Mm-hmm.
The cop is sort of interrogating him, sort of, and we see he has a high school ring, which is the same high school ring as Tracy Lords had.
Mm-hmm.
So the cop basically knows that he killed his wife. And they're on the train. The train stops. They get off. The husband, the suitcase is there. He's like, how can the suitcase be here when I threw it off the train? And then the cop's like, well, if we didn't know before you were guilty, we now have your confession that you had your dead wife's body in the thing. But he opens up the case, and it's not his wife. It's another woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the cop's like, the cop knows who it is because it's the cop's wife. So the husband wasn't having an affair. The Tracy Lords, the husband's wife, wasn't having an affair with the cop.
Mm-hmm.
She was having an affair with the cop's wife.
Yeah, so
there's the twist. That's a pretty good twist.
I mean, yeah, this one had a lot of twists, and that was the topper right there. Was she wasn't gonna leave her husband for the cop?
No,
she was gonna leave her husband for the cop's wife.
Yeah, but the cop's like, oh, so you found out so he's like, you found out my wife was our wives were having an affair and they were gonna run off together, so you killed them both. And we find out, so we think that's the twist. That's one of the twists. So he's like, they're taking him off basically, and it's like the next night or the next day or whatever, and we find out that he switched the suitcases because he still has Tracy Lord's body. The cop has Tracy Lord's body, and we see him putting her body parts down the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a nice gory moment with his blood all over the place, and he gets the hand, and it's funny because she's giving him the finger, sort of. If you look at the
Yeah.
bottom, which I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it's a funny little ending, like it's an FU to everybody. So yeah, so he killed his wife because of having the affair, and he framed the husband so he can get away with killing her. Which I like the couple of the double twist there, which was a pretty cool twist. But then again, somebody does get away with murder.
Yep. And it's not who you would probably originally think was going to get away with murder. I really like this one. And this was another one that I didn't remember the episode at all. So this was like watching it just fresh and new and all that. So
Yeah, I don't remember the whole twist. I remembered sort of the cop and the Tracy Lords, and I remember that much of it, but I didn't remember like the story completely. So yeah, I was like, oh, this is cool, watching a twist unfold. Yeah.
So this is definitely in my wheelhouse of favorite episodes overall. So again, I'm curious to see how this played out in the comic versus the episode.
All right, this was Crime Suspense Stories 17. So this was before the Tales from the Crypt came out. I think it's more Tales from the Crypt in the episode than it is in the comic.
It's definitely Tales from the Crypt in the episode.
Yeah, so there's no two wives having an affair because this was the 50s and they didn't talk about stuff like that back then.
Even if it was happening, they weren't going to talk about it.
Guys, please, those housewives who had the storybook housewives who were like giving, pipe and slippers and martini, they were having affairs with women. What are you, crazy? Those going to church and PTA, they were having sex with women. Come on. Anyway, so let's see. In the comic, he buries his wife in the cellar. And he reports his wife missing to the cops. So when the cops come to investigate, it's because she disappeared. She left me, and it was that kind of thing. And he burns her clothes. But he writes a note in her, saying I left you and whatever. But he doesn't. He leaves the toothbrush. So when the cop's looking around, he's like, why would she take her clothes and all her belongings, but leave her toothbrush? That seems a little. Why would you forget that? Like, you would take all your toiletries and stuff, but you wouldn't take your toothbrush? So the cop's a little like. So it's mostly a cat and mouse game with him trying to get away with killing his wife, meanwhile the cop is investigating. And in this, he doesn't just chop her up; like he chops her off. He finally chops her, so you can't even tell what the body is at that point. That's kind of the big thing. And he hacks up her body into little, not even chunks, into little mush, and he puts it in. He does put it into a trunk. But the twist is a little different, because in the twist, what is the twist in the comic? In the comic, he thinks he's gotten rid of the body, but it shows up. But like I said, there's still the train thing, and that sort of happens. He's trying to, so he goes to the train station trying to get rid of the body. He gets caught, but he thinks he got rid of the body, and he's looking at the corpse, and he's like, "That's not my wife," because it looks like it's a distinct person, and he's like, "I don't know who that is. That's not my wife. That's not the person I killed." So he's still giving himself away. He's still admitting that he killed somebody. But the twist is a little different in the comic, because the comic is a sequel. So the first story is about it was never used in a Tales from the Crypt. It's about a guy who's kills women and his mother hides the bodies. So that story was called One for the Money.
Oh.
Where the title comes into play in the comic a lot better than it does in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the comic, the TV episode is called Two for the Show. In the comic book, it's called Two for the Show because it's a sequel to One for the Money.
Okay.
Body is a body that the mother hides to get her husband, her son, who's killing women. He hides the bodies in trunks and whatever. So the trunk they find is the body that the mother hid from the first story.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's from the same. It's from the same comic book. So it's One for the Money is like the second story in the crime suspense, and then the third story or fourth story is Two for the Show. So it makes sense.
I thought maybe it was called Two for the Show because there turns out to be two dead wives.
Yeah, there's really except for that maybe, but other than that, it makes no sense to be called Two
Right.
for the Show. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So moving on to the final episode of the night.
Yep.
This one to me, for the most part, was like one of those good old fashioned, not purely old fashioned, but as far as a storyline,
Yep.
kind of haunted house slasher flick mixed in. So I had a lot of fun with this one. Plus, this has a very interesting twist to the end of it, which I really, really liked. And that's called House of Horror. And we have a lot of recognizable actors in this. Keith Coogan's in this, Courtney Gaines, Brian Krause, Jason London, Will Wheaton, and Kevin Dillon. They're all in this episode.
And they're all young.
They are really very young.
Now everybody's old.
Yeah. Will Wheaton included, and he, he looked young for like boyishly young for a long, long time. But
Yeah.
it seems that everybody's, finally getting old.
So Jason London was in the Rage Carrie 2.
Yeah.
He was the boyfriend.
Yep.
He's also in Tu Wong Fu with he's Billy Ray. He's the one that John Leguizamo's hot for in the movie.
Wasn't he in Dazed and Confused as well?
Yeah. He was also in The Man in the Moon.
Yeah. Oh, that movie. I don't want to give anything away, but if you want a tearjerker towards the end, you could watch it. But like I cried the first time I saw that one.
Which has Sam Waterston.
Yes, it does.
As we show. He's from the As We Show episode. I'm not to Bill Murray from Caddyshack. They're gonna get the candy bar out of the gopher. Okay. All right. Anyway.
Very good Bill Murray impression, TJ.
I'm doing that character. I don't know if I can do. Oh, I can do Bill Murray from what's the zombie movie he was in?
Oh shoot.
Why can't I remember the name? The joke doesn't work now that I took so long to remember the Zombieland. This is Bill Murray in Zombieland. This is his character.
That's an easy one to do.
Spoiler: he was killed in the movie.
Can you do the Tripper character from Meatballs?
That's just Bill Murray. It's like not much of a character. It's just like I can't remember any of the dialogue. I couldn't even.
I need to watch that again. Does anybody know if that? I know what people are going to say. You don't need to get comedy movies on 4K. I can hear Steve in the back of my brain saying that now.
Really cool visuals, or it's like a space comedy.
But does anybody know if Meatballs is out on 4K?
The first one, I don't know. I want Meatballs 2 to come out on 4K with the alien. That's so cool. That's hilarious. That.
And is it the second one or third one that has Rudy return? I mean, it's a different actor playing Rudy. Remember Rudy from the first one?
It might not be. It might be the third one.
I'm trying to remember. Chris Makepeace played Rudy in the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember. Meatballs 3 has the sexiest man alive, Patrick Dempsey, in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Blissel says, Dana, I'm sending a gag ball along with the cuffs.
What are you getting into over there?
She's getting into something kinky.
What is the? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, House of Horrors.
Which has nothing to do with gag balls and cuffs, but you know.
Well, it's about hazing. So
it is about hazing. I guess you could have a gag ball and
stuff. You can't do that anymore because it's abuse. So.
Oh, she says to hush Steve up. Yeah, but I might, I'm not trying to sound kinky here, but if he had a gag ball and he had cuffs, I might want to take advantage of him or something.
Here's my impression of Steve. He looks like he was actually paying attention to something, but no, he was just unconscious. That happens to me sometimes when you're just like concentrating on something and you're just breathing.
I don't breathe that loud, I don't think, as loud as Steve does. But anyway, we'll get back to the episode here.
Oh, this also has Meredith Salinger from Dream a Little Dream with them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I bet Garrett knows who she is.
I love those. Is there anybody else that doesn't like Dream a Little Dream? Because I love it. I mean, but I think some people don't really get it.
The deputy in Lake Placid, which I like her in that. She's really good in that. I like her in that. If I had a dick, this is where I take the suck. Love. Oh, Betty White, rest in peace.
Yeah. So, did you like this episode, TJ? Did you have as much fun with it as I did? I had a lot of fun with it.
The house aspect, the fraternity. Yeah, it's like a fraternity comedy. Kevin Dillon is like amped up to 20 in this. I think he's so.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And he's like, "You're gonna get in there."
He's almost like He's almost like it's in the army or something, and he's like screaming at these guys all the time.
And we get Wheaton, London, and what's his face in their underwear.
Yeah.
Was who was the other one?
Coogan.
Yeah. It also had Michael DeLuise in it.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the older frat guys, or one of the head frat guys or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. Anyway. So we're gonna start. I'm sorry, we're starting, right? Okay. So how far?
I was waiting for TJ to go on.
Yeah. My brain had a
lapse there.
Sorry, brain lapse. Anyway, I need to take my ginkgo biloba. I just like saying that. Yeah, we got these three guys, and they're going through the hazing in their fraternity. Kevin Dillon's character Les is like, yeah, you guys gotta do everything, or you'll be like the wall of shame, and they're like, you'll be like that guy in there who just couldn't take it, and he ended up going having a nervous breakdown, and he couldn't handle it, and Kevin Dillon's character is like very happy about this. He's like he's too into the
Yeah, he's
hazing
too happy about
yeah.
that.
Um, so we have this sorority pledge come. She's like, oh, we're having this party. We'd love you guys to come. For some reason, she's Southern. I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know how that all fits in.
I don't think the
Other than
actress has a Southern accent, right? I don't think Meredith Salinger is Southern.
I didn't think so.
Maybe it's to show that she's sort of innocent. Maybe the Southern, I don't know.
Or maybe to show how diverse like college life is. There's people from everywhere that go to these
Yes,
colleges.
another white girl. She has to have a Southern accent to be. Yes, I love the diversity. A white Southern girl, a white Italian
I don't
girl.
know,
a
TJ.
white-
I'm trying to think why they would give her a southern accent other than like to show different like this could be, did they say where the college was?
I don't know, because no one else has a Southern accent.
So I thought maybe she was a southern gal that came up north or something to go to college. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
all the other girls in the sorority don't have Southern accent. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be she's sort of enchanting and captivating to the
Like a southern belle or some.
young dudes, young dudes in their late teens, early 20s. An accent kind of gets you going a little bit. I think that's sort of what it was. She's sort of luring the boys into the come to the sorority for the party. I have a Southern accent. You strapping gentlemen.
I would hypnotize you with my southern accent.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Anyway, but they're like, no, you should come to the hazing tonight. So the hazing takes place at a haunted house. The local spooky house that everybody thinks is haunted, where some tragedy and murders happened and whatever.
Oh, Wes is starting in on me already.
And let me get through this episode. Anyway, so it's later that night. The pledges are going to go into the haunted house. Each floor they have to flash their lantern to show that they made it to the third floor, because if they make it to the third floor, they wait there for Kevin Dillon to come and collect them, basically. So the first one goes up. They light the lights, but they don't signal in the attic, and they're like, "What's going on?" So they send the second guy up. Meanwhile, Kevin Dillon has one of the other fraternity members. So the house has been set up with sound effects and ghosts to scare.
Sort of reminds me of Hell Night.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Reminded me of Hell Night, except nobody's dressed in costumes. The second guy goes up. And he lights the first lantern, and then he gets onto the second floor. He throws something out the window. It's a severed arm, but it's fake. And he yells. He's like, I forget his dialogue, but it's basically like, I'm not falling for your crap. I'm gonna go through with this. Meanwhile, he goes to the second floor. He doesn't signal. So they're gonna send Will Wheaton in next, but he's like, I don't want to go up there. I don't trust you. And they go, well, we'll give you $1,000 if you go in there. And then the girl's like, we could have a nice date with $1,000.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, fine, I'll go in there. So he goes in there. We now see what's going on. We see he's got the flashlight. He's walking around. He sees where all the fake stuff is going on. We hear screams. And meanwhile, there's a funny joke where they're doing sound effects, and there's a chainsaw, and he's like, the story wasn't the guy didn't kill his family with a chainsaw, it was with an axe, and he's like, this is it's creative license, and
Yeah.
he goes this isn't a he goes you're using a chainsaw, this isn't a massacre, which is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference, which I think was funny. So anyway, they hear screams, they go into the house, and they're like to Kevin Dillon, like, you go up there and you get the pledges, because the pledges are supposed to come down when he goes for them. Meanwhile, he gets scared by he gets frightened. There's a guy in a mask, in a cloak. He starts laughing. He takes off the cloak. It's the guy who was the Hall of Shame guy from the beginning, and it was a revenge for what they did to him. So I guess he really didn't go. He didn't really have a nervous breakdown. It was just a whole ruse to get to give him a part of the plan. Meanwhile, the other two guys are missing.
Yeah.
And he goes up to the attic. Because he's got to get the other two guys, because they don't know what's going on at this point. So the guy reveals himself. Kevin Dillon and one of the other members of the fraternity goes, "Hey, dude, you can't back down. You got to go up and get them out of the attic." He's still a little scared, so he goes up to the attic, and he finds a trash can, and it has all body parts, which are the body parts of the. Guess what? They're the body parts of the other two pledges. And that arm that the guy threw out the window earlier wasn't a fake arm. It was the first pledge that went upstairs that we didn't see. It was his severed arm, because they notice he has a pledge ring on.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. So yeah, Kevin Dillon finds the body parts, and then the girls from the sorority start coming into the room, and we find out that they're ghouls.
Yeah.
They're an all ghouls sorority, and which is the Crypt Keeper joke. They're an all ghouls sorority,
and TJ did it in his best Crypt Keeper voice too.
I can't with my voice. Is like I'm losing my voice because of all this too much talking and not enough drinking. Anyway, and their faces are all deformed, like they're. I don't know why they had to be. I guess to make them look like they're monsters and not girls. To sort of the reveal to work, they have to be sort of deformed. Yeah, and the girls' sorority is the letters of the sorority are DOA. Get it?
Yeah. Delta
Omega. Is A epsilon? I forget what A is, or is that?
I can't remember.
Whatever A is. So the whole point was, yeah, they're DOA, and oh, I'm sorry, and the I guess the girl who's the head of the sorority, she makes the comment about, we're an all ghoul sorority,
Yeah.
And he screams. And everybody downstairs is like, what's going on? His severed head comes bouncing down the stairs. And then the camera is outside, and you hear screaming inside the haunted house, and that's the end of the episode. So either we don't see them get killed. So either the other fraternity members got away, or all the sorority girls had a really good dinner and they ate all the kids in the. So yeah, that's the twist.
Yep. Which again, I really like this one. Again, this is one of my favorite episodes, and it was good to go back and revisit it.
Yep.
And I had forgotten all these, like I said, recognizable names were in this one. I mean, this one was chock full of them. We've had several episodes like that have a lot of I think the chat's getting completely derailed in there. I've been glancing at it. It's TJ
Pay
that's
attention
talking.
to us. we're almost
No,
done.
you're supposed to be listening to us talk about Tales from the Crypt.
We can spend the next 20 minutes after we're done reading the chat.
I'm gonna have to say something about a couple of things in there because my character's getting defamed. So defamation of character going on in there. But anyway, yeah, what can I say? I really, really liked it. This one comes highly recommended. Hits all the bases, but this is another one yet again that I'm curious how the comic was different.
So this was a Tales from the Crypt 21 story. The big difference is just a straightforward. They're at the haunted house. The kids go up one by one. We found out it's all a prank for the to get that's how fraternities are. There's no sorority. There were no sorority girls. There's no sexual anything. It's just a bunch of dudes.
And all the guys in here are going, "Oh,
yeah." And so the structure's the same. They go into the haunted house, and then the guy who sort of set up booby traps to scare off the pledges, he ends up going to the attic, and he's scared by something, but we never see what it is. They find him in the attic. His hair's turned gray. His skin has gotten older. He looks like he just aged 40 years. They never find the pledges that had gone upstairs. And 15 years later, the town the county commissioner decides we're going to burn this house down, get rid of it, and that's the ending. It's very simple. And that's the end of the story. Wasn't much of a, it was less complicated.
yeah, it didn't have all those."
Sometimes it needs a little extra, but I think whatever. Either way, it's two separate things that are similar. And yeah, that's it. These were fun 7 episodes, and
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think there was. I haven't really found a stinker in the bunch yet.
yeah.
I keep waiting for one to pop up, but it doesn't. It doesn't really ever pop up. And what do we got? 2 more seasons after this. This one. We got 2 more seasons after that. I think there were.
Well, according to the guys, we're going to be
7
doing it for another 30 years.
They're never going to let this go
No.
because the first thing Wes said when he came in here was "nice shirt, Dana."
Yeah.
We all know what kind of shirt I have because we talked about it early.
By the way, there are because we do the Tales from the Crypt on our YouTube, suggestions. I don't know if you get it, but I get a lot of Tales from the Crypt stuff.
Yeah.
And I get other people who have done things like we have been doing, but they'll do one episode and they'll do like 30 minutes to an hour on one episode at a time. At least we're getting.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know if I could talk for an hour. Could you, TJ, about about a single episode?
I don't know. I mean, they might go off on tangents sometimes, but
And
there's 7 seasons.
yeah.
I mean, if you want to go over the movies, we could do that, but that's not the same thing.
No, definitely not the same thing.
You can watch
Wes
it.
can never get Blissful's name right, her real name right. He called her Lola tonight. So
Laurie.
so
Yo, Laurie. Let's go have some pasta, Laurie. Come on. Oh, you're getting something special for Christmas, Dana.
Oh, well, thank you, Uncle Bill, for the $4.99. But he's gifted me the power of Dead Pit Patreon this Christmas.
Why don't you give her the $9.99?
But you know what, though? I still haven't reached my $100 threshold, Uncle
Yeah,
Bill.
what are
So
you up to?
Lord knows when I'm going to see that $4.99. Oh man! But thank you anyway, Uncle Bill. I appreciate it. Um, but and Uncle Bill also said, you know, a shirt she doesn't have, the new Dead Pit shirt. No, I do not. And I guess they're picking at me because I won't get, you know, the T Public shirts, and I'm paying $30 a shirt.
I have two dead pitch.
I have some Dead Pit shirts, but here's the
I have a
thing.
Born to Be Rad shirt also.
Here's the thing. I know I haven't bought any new ones, and if people didn't know, I've gained a little weight over the years, and so my old Dead Pit shirts don't look as good on me as they did, and so I'm kind of. That's why I don't wear them, guys, because I try to hide my fat by wearing these larger shirts. So I guess I need to buy a larger size from you guys.
No, I'm looking on T Public to see what they got.
Wes says, good. The new origin of Metal Merle shirt is way cooler. I think Metal Merle is cute the way that's set up, but I don't know what is I don't really know the origin of Metal Merle. I don't think you guys have told me what the origin of Metal Merle is.
It sounds like one of Jay's personas. No, I know Jay only has like, what is it? Who's the horror host he does? Chester Grimm.
Chester Grimm.
But
And
like,
he used to do like Cheddar or whatever a long time
It
ago.
reminds me of like Roger from from what's that show? American Dad. Like he has all these personas.
Oh, okay. And Blissful said something about getting a package ready for me with a gag ball and cuffs to use on Steve. And then Wes said, Bliss says his match is candy cane dildo. I can honestly say Steve does not have any dildos of any kind, so he definitely doesn't have a candy cane one. Wes is asking Blissful if she wanted to record an MWO next week. He says we need new blood. You should do it, Blissful. You should do that, at least once. It's an experience.
Oh, here's a shirt I want to get. The Rad Pit shirt. I want that. That's cool. It's the cross between
Mash up with Dead Pit and Born to Be Rad.
Actually, are there any sales? And I like the one with the
Public almost always has sales, but
I like the one with the ghoulie that has the Santa hat and the beard. I like that's a good one too.
That ain't that Metal Merle?
I don't know.
Because I thought Metal Merle was the ghoulie with the beard and
I don't know.
stuff on it. I guess we'd have to ask Wes.
Should I get it in red or should I get it in black?
Blissful says she's panel shy.
Yeah, how are you gonna do streams with her if she won't come on the?
Yeah, I want to get Blissful on here sometime, and I told her she could start out doing audio only, and then we'll gradually get her into doing the video too. And Darren brings up Chris C, which Chris would be.
He's been on a couple.
Mm-hmm. And then I have to take another jab in the gut because Wes says, sure thing, most of y'all support us. Like, dude, I support you guys. Like, don't I come on and do things, watch alongs or commentaries and different things? Don't I join in on that? I mean, how is that not supporting you guys? I talk about how great you guys are all the time, except when you come in here and badmouth me, and then I got to defend my character on here. And then Uncle Bill took another jab at me. Says, most of you.
Aw.
Chris says, I have some of the EC Comics reissues through Dark Horse Comics, not the Tales from the Crypt ones, though.
Yeah, I was looking through Amazon. They have a bunch of like collections of um, each of the comics. You know, like.
Well, that's nice, Blissful. She says, I've watched a few of them. They aren't as good as you both.
Oh,
Well, we appreciate that, Blissful. I think Uncle Bill called me a shit ass.
Yeah, that was there earlier. By the way, tune in tomorrow to Dead Pit for the Silent Night Slippy Night.
Oh, yes.
Michael Felsher.
Are we going to get any answers? That's are we going to have any answers about trick or treat?
No, he won't. If he doesn't have a press release, he's not allowed to.
But I'm like everybody else. It's something that he's doing. He doesn't have to answer to a studio or anything like that. He's doing this.
But
so.
Sometimes they have to sign like NDAs and stuff. Like,
you think maybe that's what's going on?
If you do something like and it goes on some company's DVD or release or whatever, they kind of own the rights to it to an extent. Unless you release it on your own, you might have like I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so don't listen to me for lawyer advice.
TJ's not a lawyer. He just plays one on television. See, I'll make a little joke there. But anyway, Chris says they took one of Garrett's streams off too. Don't know why. Did they do that recently?
Some copyright issue, I think. I forget what it was, but yeah.
Oh, man.
He was doing something with like his brother and his sister-in-law, I think, and they were doing like Christmas like snack things. But yeah, something that got taken down and they weren't allowed to. It wasn't. Yeah, wow. YouTube, and like what they have for. I don't get how the law works with YouTube. I don't get it. I know a lot of stuff with audio. If it's music, you probably shouldn't put it up on YouTube because it's going to get taken down unless you're really lucky.
Yeah, well, I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had anything taken down and I haven't had any copyright strikes. But, I just usually, if they say there's a copyright claim on it, I will either take that part out or mute it at that part. And then from then on out, I try to be more cognizant about, not having music playing. Like Jay was playing, just a snippet of John Carpenter's Halloween music, but,
Yeah.
and I wasn't even thinking about it when we were doing that. It just didn't even cross my mind. And then I was like, hell, what did I get this copyright claim for? And then I was like, oh shit, that's what it was.
Anything that's owned by a studio or a music company, it's you're crap shooting that you're gonna get.
But here's the thing that
even stuff that's like you put it on there 5 years ago, they find it now and then they take it down and then you lose whatever. Like if you're got one of those revenue things, you lose that revenue that you just had from years ago. It's like, who finds that now all of a sudden? Like, are you really making any money off of it that much that it's going to really affect?
Probably not.
Billionaire. This should have been my rant. These billionaire companies who these billionaire executives have all this money, and they're the ones who are complaining that they're getting screwed. They don't care about the little people in their organizations. It's the big people that they're working with.
Yeah.
I lost 5 cents because you got that YouTube channel money.
Well, and I think the way that YouTube handles this, and this might get me yanked completely off of YouTube if somebody hears this, or the right or wrong person hears it, but I think the rules that YouTube has are lopsided as hell. Because I see this over and over again, and I'm not talking about the Dead Pit guys. They've had trouble. I'm not talking about Garrett. Garrett's had trouble. But there are certain people that can show any damn thing that they want. They can show a whole entire movie on their
Say
stream.
their name. Say
Uh,
their name.
well, I don't know specific names.
Oh,
I
see,
just
now,
think,
you're making things up now.
no, I'm not making it up. I see it. I'm like, how the hell do they get to keep this up there? You know, but then we play 2 seconds, a half a second of some music. It's like, oh no, you can't do that. And somebody will have a whole freaking album on there.
Name that tune in one note. And that's the note that gets taken down from the YouTube.
And what the hell happened to fair use? You can't claim fair use anymore?
Kind of no. I don't know. I don't know how these channels that reaction channels how they get away with.
Yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
a lot of you change the pitch, or you blur it, or you do something to the audio, but it's just like some of them can get away with it and some of them can't. I had posted.
That's the exact point I'm bringing up. I don't
A short
understand.
clip doing a reaction to a short movie that was on YouTube, and it was up there for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden taken down for not copyright, but whatever the I didn't get in trouble for it. It's just like they took it down because of the claim or whatever, and I'm just like, well, what? How much of it on there was going to affect anybody making money?
None. It's just like, I get funny little things where it'll say that somebody used my content. Like
Oh yeah.
the interview I did with Blissful's friend, I told him he could use it on his channel, but their algorithms picked up on it. And I got a little message saying, somebody is using all or part of your content.
At least that's good for your side. At least you got safe there.
Yeah, but I mean, like in that case, I didn't even, I didn't care that he used it because I told him, I said, you could put that on your channel to promote you and all that. That was the deal we made early on. So, um, Wes says, I'm going to call him out violently. It's his own release. Well, yeah, I want to I want to listen to that. But,
Steve almost got them taken down.
let's see.
The only copyright strike we ever got is something Steve did. I have to do that in Southern accent.
Oh, yeah. Look.
I have to do a Southern accent.
Uncle Bill says, Dana, you need to support us with your wallet. We are poor hill folk. Oh, yeah.
She's from Louisville. How you think she's rich?
I'm not made of money either, But see, I got to be careful what I say because then they'll say, well, you're paying $35 a month for Joe Bob's, in their words, shitty Patreon. And I don't think it's shitty. I don't think there's a shitty. I'm just saying that I feel like I get a lot of stuff for that $35. Digital as well as physical stuff. I'm not going to pull out the Blu-rays again. There's another one on the way. It's my Christmas Blu-ray and Christmas card from Joe Bob and Darcy. So,
by the way, your stream on Saturday. What time is your stream going to be?
7 Eastern time.
Steve has a stream on at 6:00, right?
Shit, he didn't tell me.
Because when I looked up Slippy tomorrow, it says Captain's Christmas Special, 12:23. Scheduled for 12:23 at 6 p.m.
I've been talking for probably over 2 weeks about doing this.
Yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to call.
I'm gonna have a talk with my husband tomorrow.
Don't when I'm on it. Don't tell him I said it.
No, I won't tell him who told me, but it's like we gotta coordinate here. Unless he's just planning on doing it for an hour. If he's planning on doing it for an hour, that's fine.
I don't know.
I'm just gonna ask him. I'm gonna say, how long's your stream gonna be Saturday? Chris says, I've heard good things on Tombs of the Blind Dead. That Synapse released. Might get that one.
I have the original DVD release of the whole series, and I don't know why I would want to buy the Blu-rays. Unless somebody wants to give me some money.
Blissful says, I can get a huge list of music you can't play if you want.
Can you even read the... At one point, you're not going to be able to read titles of anything because of copyright.
Wes says, claiming fair use works from some studios, but they have to okay it first. Universal won't okay anything. Okay, so Wes,
I'll do that.
Tell me what I get for $1. If I gave y'all $1 a month, what could I get? You tell me that. I can't imagine that, $1 is going to get me very much. And Blissful says, puts a duct tape in Dana's package. So now I'm going to have a ball gag and cuffs and duct tape.
Careful what you say. You might get the cops coming over.
Yeah, she's not really sending that in case any cops are watching or listening to this. I hope the cops got more important things to do than listen to my streams or watch my streams or whatever.
But yeah.
Wes says I get my name at the end of their videos and access to a few random podcasts.
That's okay.
It's $1. You can't even buy a pop for $1. I'm not saying that that's bad, but I'm not
trying to buy.
I'm not even like, I'm not a person that has to have their name on the end of videos. I'm not that person.
Now, if you donate to Data Stream, your name will be in this cool green font.
No, I can't say green font because that's Wes will say that's dead pit green. You can't, they're going to copyright that.
No, yours it's darker. You can't copyright a color. Well, you could. The Wizard of Oz did. They copyrighted the color of the Wicked Witch.
Oh, you know yeah.
The exact shade of her skin is
copyrighted.
I'm like, what is the color, anyways?
Darren says, Dana, for $1, you get access to the Eurocult podcast, a podcast that I am on. So, yeah, I find that amusing.
You should invite me on that. No, I'm kidding.
You could come on, TJ. Do you want to come on in the future? We'd have to tell you what movie we're covering so you could watch it.
I wouldn't mind. That sounds interesting.
Do you want to, the next time we do one, because it's going to be kind of sporadic because we've got the Christmas holiday and then New Year's, and Steve talks like we're not doing anything those 2 weekends. Darren says, yeah, TJ, come on. So
it's like a book club for movies. Without the alcohol.
Darren, my brain is going, have we already got a movie picked for the next time? I'm losing my marbles. Because if we tell TJ the movie that we're doing, the next time we do it, then maybe he can find a copy so he can watch it and discuss it with us.
Yeah, sure. Keep me posted.
Lord, I find that funny too, that for $1 I can get access to a damn podcast that I'm on already. I know what we talked about. Yeah, I'll the New Year's Eve, The Killer is on the Phone, 1972. Okay. So if you can find a copy of The Killer is on the Phone, TJ.
I'll write that down. My pen worked.
Oh, my pen never works whenever.
Excuse my language. I'm just going to look it up. That way I don't have to worry about it. Stupid pen.
Wes says, did y'all hear that there's going to be a Christmas Day with Jay special on the Dead Pit channel? I did not hear that, but that is cool. That Jay's going to do something. And
Did you see Sean Clark just put up a Black Christmas 50th anniversary location?
oh,
Video?
damn, I'm going to have to go watch that.
And then someone else put something up for Suspiria locations. They just did.
Is it one of Sean's buddies?
Your Grim Life.
Yeah, I think that's a guy he knows. Grim Life Collective, I think.
When I watched them both, and I was for one moment I was like, are they the same person? Because they go dark hair, and though the Grim Life, he's got longer hair. And,
yeah. And then there's Scott on Tape. I think Sean Clark's really good friends with Scott on Tape too. And
it is on YouTube. The Killer is on the Phone.
Oh, Darren also said if you can't find it, TJ, try Rare Lust.
Ooh, it's an HD supposedly. Well, we'll see what this looks like. HD. So you can't put audio on YouTube. What if you put a commercial on? Does that count?
Well, I was watching, the other night got caught up in watching old Christmas specials that had the original commercials in there for toys and different things at that time.
Because one of the reaction people I watch, they just put up a Flash Gordon 1980 watch along, and I'm like, there's so much Queen music in that. How did they even get any?
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
I need to watch that and see if they how much audio they actually got to be able to use. It's also
now when they do those reaction ones, TJ, do they just show snippets of the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, they don't show the whole thing.
No. You can't. You're only allowed like a certain seconds of footage. But even that,
I bet I couldn't even do that.
Even that, sometimes they have to put it up like 10, 15 times because copyright claim. Just by this much is a copyright claim. You could have this much of a track on. You have just a little extra. Nope, they're taking it down. It's weird. I don't know how people can do that as their living. They do the watch along.
Yeah, that would
twice a week. Like I don't know how they get away with how they can. The patience too. Like I don't know the patience to keep editing it down to get rid of the And like I said, you gotta change the pitch and you gotta put some something over it to make it not sound exactly like it.
Blissful says she goes to a channel that has a live with retro commercials.
No. Yeah, but then like the copyright probably expired for stuff like
and
that.
And those ones that stream like 80s music or 70s music or something like that, like I don't know how they do that either.
Ooh, there's some women kissing in this Killer on the Phone. Ooh. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you're talking about, and I'm not saying I don't pick movies like that too, but like.
Did you pick that?
I didn't pick that one, but invariably when Darren, and no offense to Darren or Dirk or Steve picks one, they're gonna pick ones that are a little, got those little things in there because that, what guy, even straight guys like to see two attractive women kissing each other,
You should do Laura, Lady Dracula. This got everything. Dracula, nudity.
There you go.
Lesbianism.
Steve didn't like the movie that I picked the last time because we kind of do a round robin and everybody picks a movie. And when it was my turn, I picked Blood Rage, the Thanksgiving one. And Steve didn't want to do that one so bad. Plus, he was sick at the time. He said, "You can just do it by yourself with Dirk and Darren if you want to." I was like, you really don't want to do this, do you? So we actually, that one's on my channel, But I noticed Mr. Wesley pull. I guess he ripped it off of my channel and put it on. It's on Dead Pitch channel too. So, and the only reason I know he did that is because remember when I was talking about YouTube will tell me if somebody is using my material. It
Uh-huh.
told me, I was like, what in the heck? Oh, okay. Wes was using it. Um, Wes doesn't miss a trick. He was gonna get that damn Euro cult podcast back on the I'm just kidding, Wes. But anyway. Um yeah, let's see what I got upcoming here. TJ, do you have anything you want to talk about the short film again or anything? Promote it?
I'm good. I got 1.5 thousand views. That's pretty good
Oh, that's awesome.
for somebody who's nobody. That's pretty good. Oh, I don't have a rant, but um, I hate people who can't look shit up and then they just make statements. And it's like if you just looked on Google, like there was a something with Stephen King where he was talking about, or they were talking. The article was about needle drops in movies, and Stephen King is like, I think me and Mick Garrett were the first people to put "Don't Fear the Reaper" on a movie, and I'm like, Halloween, you bitch. Halloween
Hey,
is
don't put down my favorite writer,
Who doesn't know
TJ.
that? Especially from a guy who he did stuff. He had movies with John Carpenter. He doesn't know that "Don't Fear the Reaper" is in. Don't Fear the Reaper didn't appear in The Stand, the first movie. It was. It might have been before that, but definitely John Carpenter's Halloween was a movie that had that. Like
Did
Stephen
did
King.
Stephen King say that on Twitter or something?
I don't know. It was part of an article. I don't know where he said it. But I'm like, Stephen King, shame on you. How do you not know that? And before you make a statement, look it up on Google for God's sake. Jeez.
I mean, I do love Stephen King and I love all his books and stuff,
Yeah.
but maybe like I guess, and I know I've done it too. You just make offhanded comments and you don't really mean anything by it, but then people take it as like, well, that dumbass didn't know what they were talking about. They should have looked that up before they said something. But I've caught myself doing it. Um, so, but I understand, TJ. I mean, it's so easy to look up things now.
If it's going to be in an article or something that's written, you should look it up before you just you type it up and then hit send. Maybe you should look over it a little bit. Maybe double check some things. I don't know. If you're gonna be making a statement, you should have facts. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. I know they don't do that in politics, but I mean,
Maybe Stephen King doesn't trust Google. He doesn't trust the internet.
Well, look it up twice. Don't just look it up in one. Don't go to the first article that's in the chat in the search. You gotta look. You gotta look through a few before you.
Sometimes you got to look a little deeper.
Wikipedia, because people put shit in there of their own free will and accord. It has not. None of that stuff you can say is gospel. I mean, really.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's going back and trying to verify the stuff to determine whether it's correct.
IMDb, when you used to be able to have like the comment section and stuff, which they took out because they were sick of people complaining about it. But I'm like, at least you can go in there and correct. You can actually go in there and correct trivia that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because people think, because they believe something, that it's trivia. No, because you heard something through 5 different people or through 6 party references. That doesn't mean it's true. That just means that it was out there and somebody made a comment. I mean,
Well, some of the stuff they corrected, but like they would have wrong actors. Like it was not that actor that was in. Like for instance, I think I brought this up before. The neighbor, Mr. Content on Slumber Party Massacre. Somebody said that was the same guy. When is Slumber Party Massacre? 1982.
Yeah.
They were saying that actor that played a grown man in Slumber Party Massacre from 82 was the same person that played a high school kid in Scream.
Yeah.
one of the kids that had the ghost face masks on in the school and scared Sydney. And that was up there for a long time before they finally corrected. I was like, that is not that same person. There's no way.
Speaking of Scream, I heard Matthew Lillard in a comment say that, not say, but I read a comment where he said, "I probably won't be in any Scream movie anytime soon."
Oh, he did.
As Stu, which I was like, at least he said it. At least somebody finally said that. I'm sick of people like, I'm gonna guess that that movie series is on a hiatus for a while, but I'm like, Stu, he's dead. Somebody dropped a goddamn CRT TV from the mid '90s. Those things weighed a ton. If you live through that, you're brain damaged, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could show him in the hospital with brain damage or something.
I still like my idea that have him as be the opening scene, so he gets killed off right away.
There you go.
And that shuts everybody up. He's dead. Like, and give him a definitive like.
Why out of all the things though? Why out of all the things that people could carry on about, would you want to see Stu return? Why is that the be all end all? I don't get it.
Because he was supposed to be the big bad in the third movie. And they had Columbine happen, and they can't have people shooting up a school or whatever, so they had to change that. So they totally changed the. But he got paid for it because he had a contract to do it, but when it fell through, he kept the money, but he doesn't have to. He had no. There was no more thing. But I was like, who cares? Like, and because in Scream 2, he's in the background because he visited the set one day and they let him be in it. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's not Stu. That is Matthew Lillard in
Just,
the background.
Yeah. But people that like watch every frame of film, just to see, like, I'm not saying that I'm not a huge fan of a lot of different things, but
yeah,
I do not overanalyze movies. Like, that's something, I have my own little rant here. That's something that bothers me, not only at horror conventions, but you'll be in restaurants or usually it's restaurants and conventions that you do. Somebody thinks that they've got to make themselves sound really smart or really good. What it makes you sound like is you're annoying. They have to be all descriptive and sound like they're a professor talking about film. And I get so annoyed hearing people talk like that. TJ, do you know what I'm talking about? These people that dissect every frame of film.
Well, yeah. As soon as the trailer comes out, they're trying to. They're like, wait for the movie. I'm like, wait for the movie to come out. Why do you have to know every little thing? And you're guessing.
Yeah. Oh, you hear it in the movie theater too. Yeah. Good point that you brought there.
Yeah. And like, screw you if you don't like it, but I'm a Marvel and superhero movie fan. And there's something coming out sometime next year. And they release like a little snippet, like behind the scenes, like not even like there's like just a little visual quick clip. There's no dialogue, there's no context, and they're like looking at it. Well, they must be saying this and this must be what's gonna happen in the show, and like you can't figure that out. Even like with the teaser for Terrifier next, the Christmas one. It's a teaser. You don't even know if that scene's going to be in the movie at all.
Right.
Until they release a trailer.
Whatever happened to just having fun with a movie, just enjoying a movie.
Before it comes out, so then you can go, ha, see how smart I am? I knew what it was.
I don't care about being smart. I just want to go to see a movie.
That's like someone will watch a trailer and from the trailer they'll go, that is the killer. And then if they're lucky that at the end of the movie that's revealed to be the killer, they're like, see, I knew. It's like, you didn't know anything. You just made a guess, you idiot.
Well, and here's a kind of recent example of somebody just carrying on. There was this young guy. He was much younger than me, probably in his early 20s or something.
They know everything.
And he, first of all, he had, a laptop or a MacBook. It may have been a Mac. I don't know. I can't remember at this point. But we were standing in the line to meet Sam Raimi and get his autograph. And this guy was in the very front of the line. He was the first one. And I don't even know if he knew the couple of people behind him, but he talked to them the whole time until Sam Raimi got there. And then he went up there. But all he was talking about was Sam Raimi this, Sam Raimi that, Evil Dead this, Evil Dead that. Like he was just dissecting every part of it. And like Sam Raimi had been his friend for 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And he kept wanting to show people, look at this video footage on my computer here. And it's like, who cares? Who cares? And then he was showing it to Sam Raimi, and it was Sam Raimi's freaking film. It was probably the Evil Dead. And he was like, why would you look at this? It's like, and Sam Raimi was being nice, but he probably wanted to say, kid, I made that movie. I know what's in that movie, But.
Oh, yeah, they know more than the people in them who made the movie, yeah, or the actors in the movie.
Darren says, Blissel says, who has that much time to do that? Mostly young people, like TJ said, the young people know everything.
They got no job, they got no life.
And Darren says Scream and Halloween fans are the worst. I'd say they probably are about the worst, but there's other ones like these people, I've harped on this before. These people that have no idea of an original film. And like this happened when I went to see that horrible Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I went to the movies.
Like that have issues that they should see a psychiatrist for, because that's not a good movie. And they are. I was on TikTok, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just to get this out.
No, that's fine.
I was on TikTok and I commented. They showed the end scene where Connie Britton and in the actors who played Nancy go back to the house, and it's a take on the original ending to Elm Street, where Freddy's hand appears in the mirror and his hand goes through the mother's face. And you look at that shot, the composition. It's like it looks okay, but if you really look at it, it looks so cartoony and. Mm-hmm. And people are arguing with me. It's like, oh, this is worse. I'm like, yeah, but that's still bad. And then someone's like, just like trying to argue that it looks good. It's like it doesn't look good. And then someone said, well, all CGI looks like that. And I'm like, no, some CGI doesn't look looks good. I'm sorry, but.
Yeah, some CG looks halfway decent,
CG Elm Street remake did not look. The makers of the film said. The Freddy, where they made it look like you could see the inside of his face, was digital. They're like, that was a bad mistake. We shouldn't have done that. Yeah. They say it's bad. So screw you with your dumb opinion. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But the girl or young woman that was, I guess, standing in line when we were waiting, I think we were waiting for popcorn or whatever to get up there to get popcorn. But anyway, she was talking to who I guess was her boyfriend, and he evidently knew of the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and he had seen it. And he was like, there's an original film with this name. She's like, no, I didn't know that. And they sat right in front of me in the movie theater, and all through the damn movie, I had to hear this girl saying, oh, this is so good. This is carrying on. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with people? I don't get it.
People who say, oh, the remake is so much better than the original. It's like, really? The innovative original idea.
I mean,
you should at least get credit for being the first to do something. And a remake is just copying it and then taking every other trope that you've learned through the history.
And sometimes shitting all over the original film because it's just so bad. Now, somebody like Curly Jaws, I think he legitimately thinks that those. I don't think he's trying to.
I think he's full of crap.
I think I really don't think he's trying to aggravate. I don't think he's trying to aggravate people. I
Oh,
honestly
no,
think
I don't think that, but
that he thinks that those movies are good, and no
yeah.
matter what we say, he's still
I
going to
don't
believe
find
it.
Little Fog boring and not interesting, but that remake is just trash. It's garbage. I think Uncle Bill agreed with me that it's garbage. Anyway,
But I like the original Fog. I
I
love it. But
it's a good ghost story,
hmm
and I don't even think the original Scream is it. Darren says that he thinks
Scream's
he thinks it's
overrated.
overrated, except for the first 20 minutes maybe. But you can at least overrated just because too many people keep talking about how great it is. I think overrated's hard to judge. If you like something, you like it. But I think people hype it to be the most amazing thing, like what like the sun existing is
Mhm.
it's
And I
amazing.
think people get tired of hearing that hype,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's when the overrate comes in. I'm not trying to speak out of turn, Darren, and that might not be what you're getting at, because Chris also said he never got the hype with Scream. It's overrated.
Yeah.
Um, and I respect your belief that it's overrated. But I do believe, like TJ says, that all the hype and people just keep
Yeah.
talking about it, and you just get sick of that, and it all just melds into one thing, and then it's like, I don't ever want to see this movie again because you've
Yeah.
just talked it to death. Um, Blitzel said, I watched David Coverdale dressed as Santa. It was terrifying, but his beard did cover up the work he has had done.
Oh God, yeah.
How much work has he had done?
I know what she's talking about, but I couldn't tell you. Oh no, what I just saw, it was like a St. Jude's commercial because those come out during Christmas, especially.
Yeah.
Um, what's her face? She looks like a lion. Um, um, Marlo Thomas.
Oh, really?
She's got that lion. People, women especially, men have it look too. There's um, oh, Walter Mercado. Oh, that's one person. Uh, but you either have the Cupid doll face or you have the lion face, which is too much plastic surgery that makes you look, the Cupid doll is with the big cheeks and the narrow chin and the nose, and it's like, and then the lion is just like you look like a lion. That usually means too much plastic surgery and your face is just collapsing or whatever.
I don't know what possesses these people to get all this plastic
Yeah.
surgery. I
She looks
don't.
like somebody's aunt. My aunt, my bubby. That's my bubby.
Darren says, I think the weed influences old Curly Jaw's films that he likes. And I'm sure to some, no, again, no offense, but I'm sure to some extent that does, because, like, he's not only like smoking weed though. If he was just smoking weed, it would be one thing. But he did a video, I don't know how many of you guys and gals have seen it, where he was doing mushrooms and he got completely out of his gourd. I don't know. I would be very careful with that stuff if I was him, but you can't tell people, to do or not do things. They're going to do it regardless. But I would be afraid that I'd go somewhere in the beyond and never come back messing with that stuff. Anything that's a psychedelic.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. As far as I know, weed is not a psychedelic, but you get to dealing with mushrooms and peyote and LSD and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that Curly Jaws has done LSD or anything. I'm just going. Um,
Okay, now we got
Blissful,
drug talk then.
Blissful says I only did shrooms in the summer and with someone I trusted. Blissful, no offense, but I don't trust anybody enough to do shrooms.
Did you see that movie? Did you see Shrooms? Yeah, that doesn't make me want to have them anytime soon.
But I'm not putting Blissful down for doing shrooms. I'm just saying that stuff scares the shit out of me. All that type of stuff. And I won't even, Steve has tried to get me to do the gummies again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Steve, I don't, I did not like how it made me feel. He said, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I said, you're not understanding me here. I did not like how it made me feel. It made me feel disconnected and just like I'm weird anyway, but it made me feel more weird. Eh,
Nah.
I know I'm weird. I'm weird and crazy and all that stuff. I don't, need to add more nonsense on there. But I will, as people have told me that indulge in those substances, they said that I need to not eat, not do an edible, but to smoke it. And so I've been using like that Delta 8 vape thing. And I know people say vaping's bad, it's bad for you, but I don't do it that often. I haven't used that vape device for a long time now. And that gave me just the right effect that I wanted, and it just wasn't overkill. That's why I preferred that. But um, weird is amazing, blissful.
I just got weirded out by something behind me.
Oh,
That little devil mask. I was like,
oh yeah.
I thought it was something else, and I was like, oh, I was like, what is that back there? Oh, okay.
That thing is creepy though,
Yeah,
TJ.
I love it though. Yeah, it's great. I love creepy. Creepy's great.
Creepy is great, as long as you don't like terrify yourself, coming into a dark room or something, getting a
Yeah.
glimpse of something like that and it freaks you out. Um, but I love when me and TJ are talking about these television episodes or cable television episodes, but I always love the stuff that's afterwards. But I do have one more day of work, unfortunately, before I'm off for the holidays. Um,
Doesn't it suck? Christmas is on a Monday because that means
yeah,
everybody's gonna go back to work Tuesday. That's
yeah, exactly. And my boss has already told us, and people that are in the IT world understand this, that anytime there is a long weekend or a vacation or anything like that, people forget everything. It's like they forget all their passwords. They can't remember shit. They
Mhm.
can't remember how to take an X-ray at these clinics. They they don't remember. How can your brain just be completely wiped just because you have a 3 or 4 day weekend? I'll never understand that. But anyway, there's my little rant for because we're gonna get a 500,000 password reset questions or I'm locked out of my account. I can't get in this. I can't get in that. Um, but normal is a setting on a washing machine. You're exactly right, Blissful. But because of that, I don't want to be completely wiped out tomorrow because I do have to do some work. I have to assign tickets to people, so I have to be paying attention to that. So I have to be alert,
Mm.
um, and have to deal with some people's BS. You're giving me too many tickets. Anybody that's ever handed out tickets or had to, I don't supervise people. That's my boss's job is to supervise all of us. But I'm sure people that have worked like in restaurants and have to supervise people, like my brother. I got to tell this story real quick. My brother worked his way up to like a crew leader at Wendy's. That was one of his first jobs, and you, you didn't want to mess with my brother because if you come in there and you were supposed to be working and you were being a lazy ass and just kind of loafing around and not doing anything, my brother would call you out on it. He would say, look, he would finally say, if you want to work, work. If you don't want to work, I don't want you here. There's the door, leave. And, that's an aggravation when he would have to deal with people a lot younger, kids, that thought they wanted to work, but when it came down to it, they didn't really want to work. So he would just tell them, get out. go, because he didn't need that headache. But I'm sure everybody's ran into people like that in all
Yeah.
different lines of work. So it's um, it's a pain in the ass, but just something that you got to deal with. And I knew when I took this new position there was going to be some amount of that. Um, but I think the main person that's causing me all grief and like sending me private messages all the time saying you're giving me too many tickets. Why am I doing everybody else's work for them? Yada yada yada. I think this person's finally getting the point that our supervisor knows what's going on, uh, and so
Mm.
he's on, there's red flags flying all over the place around this particular person. So, but that's all I'm going to say, because talking about work too much gets me in trouble, even if what I'm telling is the truth.
Can't tell
Uh,
the truth. It's not allowed.
yeah, you can't tell the truth, because we're in a world where the least little thing that you say could get you in trouble. So, or make people stop coming to your streams or whatever, for
Well,
whatever reason. But I have enough people come to my streams, and enough people that want to join in. Like, TJ's on a lot of them, Jay's on a lot of them. I used to have old Curly Jaws on a lot, but
I don't even
he's
think he's
kind
on.
of he's kind of going into a different zone, doing his own thing now. I think. Is that what you think, TJ, or you think
I mean,
otherwise?
he was doing those. I want to say movies. Uh,
With Mormo?
yeah, and he was posting some stuff, but I don't know where he was getting in trouble with.
I think, well, I mean,
Uh,
did somebody see those thumbnails for some of that stuff?
yeah.
It was, I love old Curly Jaws, but some of that stuff was,
He's
I
trying to
would,
get clicks.
I mean, there was sexual stuff there, and and I'm talking about like, I'm not talking about just like naked chicks or anything. There was like, I think there was one thumbnail where um, some old looking guy or something, or it could have been Santa Claus, I don't know, was getting
Ah.
uh, anally violated.
Oh God. Okay
That's
then.
just how I'm gonna put it, you know. And I would see things here and there, and the next thing you know, his channel got canceled, or
Yeah. Yeah.
and bless his heart, I love him to death, like I said, but you just got to be really careful, especially in this day and age, about what you put out there, um, because you never know who you're going to offend, and if you offend the wrong person, you'll pay for it over and over and over.
You can throw a
But
rock and offend somebody. It's really not that hard.
no, I've offended several people and didn't intend to. So, you know, it was definitely not my intention to. And,
Um,
you know, TJ knows I don't mean to offend people.
yes.
And I think most, if not all of you that are in the chat know I don't intentionally offend people. Um, but anyway,
I
on
just
that
want
note,
to.
I will tell
In
you that
general,
I'm
just
planning.
anybody in general. As you can tell, once I start, I can kind of get loud. So yeah, I pull
I,
no punches.
I'm planning on doing a seductive poison the resurgence tomorrow night, probably around 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then me and Jay will be doing a midday with Dana and Jay. It's not going to be Christmas because I think Jay's sick.
Jay, yeah, from the last one, he's like, "I'm just sick of talking about Christmas. You gotta knock it off."
Jay's nice about it, but I mean,
Well, yeah,
like,
because you kept talking about Christmas stuff, and he was just like, okay.
and I did, again, I did not mean to irritate anybody or anything like that. I understand that, people that have had, tragedies or, bad things happen, they're not really in the holiday spirit. And I certainly get that. And in Jay's case, he's by himself. And that doesn't make for, oh, Christmas is coming. Yay. That doesn't make you in that kind of mood. And I get that. And so because of that, we're going to do Ask Us Anything. So we're.
It should say, ask us anything except about Christmas.
Yeah, I'll say that. Ask us anything, but don't ask us anything about Christmas. Anything else you can ask us. Well, I have to put one more caveat there.
Uh-oh.
Jay says sometimes he gives TMI, which I don't care. He could say anything that he wants. He
kind of does. No.
But I would prefer not to be asked any, sexual questions. Please don't ask me about my sex life, because I won't answer any of that. Yeah, don't come on here and ask me what my favorite sexual position is or anything like that, because I will not answer it. Okay, because that's something that needs to be staying between me and my husband.
You don't even need to bring it
up. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, great live, Dana and TJ.
Thank you.
And also, there will only be, like I said, one watch along tonight. I'm going to kill Steve if he's going to go on for 2 hours or something like that.
I wonder who told you about that.
I'll be like Brittany Murphy's character in what was that movie she did many, many years ago where she said, I'll never tell. You remember that one? Was it Don't Say a Word? Was that what it was? I don't know. I can't remember now.
I don't know. I only know a couple of her movies.
I think Michael Douglas was in it, and he was trying to, I think maybe his kid or wife or somebody got kidnapped, and he was going to this girl that was in a mental hospital or something. He's trying to get out of her because evidently she knew what happened.
Okay.
To the person. And I remember her clearly saying, I'll never tell. So that's what I was joking about. If Steve asked me who told, I'll never tell. But anyways.
It's too bad she had a heart condition, I think.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. I mean, Brittany Murphy was always one that because she was so young, that you get in your brain that they're going to be around for a long, long time. And then when something like that happens, it's like, damn. Hey, Jimmy Robinson. But I will be doing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Will be the one and only watch along for this weekend. So come all to that. TJ, if you're not busy doing something or something doesn't come up, you're welcome to come. I think Jay's going to be on there with me.
Really? Does he know it's about Christmas?
Yeah, but he did a Christmas Story, and I think he had a good time. He says he doesn't, dislike the Christmas movies, and he watches his fair share of them. He did not Miracle on 34th Street. It's a Wonderful Life with me. Did Christmas Story, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, he's done all those.
Oh, that reminds me. I got to watch that Nightmare on 34th Street. I got to watch that anthology Christmas movie.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, it was a recent, it had a very small turnout. I don't think it has anybody noteworthy in it, and it was just sort of released. And also there was a promo shot of a Santa Claus, and people thought it was just another Santa Claus killer movie, but it's actually an anthology, and
it's funny how people are accepting of killer Santa Claus movies now, but not back in 1984 they wasn't. But
and I keep, every time I have I watch something on YouTube and there's a commercial, I'll watch ad, there's I keep saying it's a wonderful knife, and I'm like, stop showing me. I want to watch it. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know a single thing of watch a single clip about it. But I'm like, I have to watch it because somebody's gonna end up spoiling it, and I'm gonna have to punch the imaginary person because
And then TJ will have another rant about people. Did you already do a rant about people giving spoilers?
I don't know. It sounds like something I would do. I mean, I've talked about it. I don't know if I've done a specific rant about it, but
my dad would inadvertently give spoilers when I was living at home with mom and dad. He would he just, I guess, bless his heart, I guess he had in his head that everybody had seen every movie that he had.
yeah.
Like, for instance, Carrie. I had not read the book Carrie at the time I watched the movie. And that movie came out in 1976. It came out the year I was born. That movie's as old as I am.
Yeah.
It's 47 years old. So I was watching it for the first time, and it got near the end, and Dad told me what happened at the end.
Oh, well, you don't get that much into a movie and then spoil it. Come on.
Yeah, he was like, and there was another movie with Linda Blair and Martin Sheen called Sweet Hostage. I don't know how many of you guys and gals have seen that, which I think, TJ, was that a made-for-TV movie?
Sounds like it might have been.
Because I wanted to say I thought it was, but...
Yeah.
And Dad told me the end of that, and I'm like, Dad... He's like, oh, well, I thought you saw this. I said, Dad, how would I have seen these movies? And then here's the other thing my dad would do when I was a kid. He would, a trailer would come out for a brand spanking new movie, and Dad would say, I've seen that. And me and Mom would look and we'd say, you have not seen that. Mom would be like, Daryl, you have not seen that movie. He said, yeah, I know I did. She said, that's a new movie. And he did that with several movies, new movies that were advertised.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is now midnight, and I really, I got to take care of a couple of things, and then I've got to I got to go Betty by and get some sleep, or else I'm going to be in bad shape tomorrow. Or actually later today.
I have to eat my dinner.
You haven't ate dinner yet?
I didn't have time before the stream because I was doubling up on my information, watching stuff, and then I was like,
damn, TJ.
I don't have time to make anything because even if I let it sit, I won't be able to. I mean, if I make it, I won't be able to go get it because it'll be in the middle of the stream. But then I won't.
No, you don't do that anymore. Like,
I'm chewing on screen.
Tell me, hey, Dana, I haven't had any dinner, and I will say, go get your ass in the kitchen or whatever and get dinner. This will not happen anymore. You've ate on stream before. You are eating noodles. Well, I don't care. I freaking eat on screen all the time.
It was not going to be it wasn't going to be pretty.
Oh, I had fudge in here that I was eating. I'm always drinking some sort of drink. Jimmy says he hates when people spoil movies. Tell him, Dana. Yeah. Like.
That's all right. I slept till 2 p.m. today, so this is about dinner time in reality.
TJ.
Yes, Blissful, I slept till 2 p.m. and it was sunny out.
Well, please, TJ, next time tell me. Like, I don't want to find out later after you fall face first because you didn't get anything to eat.
I've never had that much time between me not eating. Yeah, I'm very mean. Thank you.
No, you're not a mean person. That's why we all care about you, and we don't want you being hungry.
I'll have my pizza and onion rings, and then go to bed. Maybe
Right.
It's a wonderful knife, so I can stop seeing spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking.
So, we're gonna get out of here for the night, and thank you, TJ, for being my handsome co-host. And I say that I try to not say lovely co-host to my guys that are on here, and guys are usually who's on here anymore. I don't know what the deal is. I can't get no women on here, and I like having guys on here, but it's like guys are the only ones that really want to be on here.
And Coco shows up every once in a while.
But they don't come. They don't come on live.
Huh?
Yeah. And I would love to have a mixture of guys and gals in here. That would be fun. I'm the lone girl. It looks kind of creepy, me being the lone lady in here with all these guys all the time.
You can't get like was it Savannah, right? You can't get her to come.
I talked to Uncle Bill about that, and he's like, she won't come on, Dana. She's too shy. And I'm like, really?
Muffins, just sit her on the chair in front of his video and just have her sit there. At least it's another female.
There we go. Blissful says I can have Wayne come on and use a high voice. Oh man, yeah.
Gavin from Christmas Story when he gets the ball. Thanks a lot.
Ball on this crunch. But
so you can sign off.
But again, I want to thank everybody in the chat as well. Jimmy says good night, Dana, and everyone when the stream actually ends. That's right, Jimmy. Sometimes you got to wait a while. I'll say 50 times the stream's going to end, then I keep laughing. But we are going to get off here so TJ can eat and so I can get wound down and get some sleep. We will.
Anyway.
There you go. And we'll see everybody next time. Good night, everybody. Good night, TJ.
Bye.
I'm going to try to end this stream.